You're watching the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, presented by My48. Heavy-hitting playoff matchup, the East Forsyth Eagles, the Mount Tabor Spartans, all the playoff implications. What a great Friday night for high school football. We welcome you in the heart of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with the former Catawba offensive lineman Mark Covert. I'm Evan Budrovich. Tonight we have double-figure Division I prospects on this field. It's a top 10 matchup in the state of North Carolina. And Mark, what does this game mean for both programs?
This is as close to a playoff game as you're going to see in the month of October. We got studs on both sidelines, D1, D2 prospects, a coaching staff on each side that cares deeply about these players and are schemed up, ready to go for arguably the biggest non-playoff game of the season so far, certainly in the area, maybe in the state.
How do these teams come out with a win? Matthew Gibson explains more.
Good evening, folks. Tonight we are in for a thrilling matchup between Mount Tabor and East Forsyth. Earlier this week, we got the opportunity to sit down with both coaches. Coach Todd Willard of East Forsyth talked about how this game could either be a slugfest or a shootout, but the keys to victory for East Forsyth is to make sure that they are clean and play their football game and get rid of silly mistakes. On the opposite side, we talked to Coach Tyshawn Brown, and he also said that he kept it simple. He said what's best for them is to play fast and play physical football all game for 4 quarters, and they will win this game. Now, what both coaches had in common is that they both said that special teams could be their advantage. Now, Snook Peterkin, if he gets the ball from Mount Tabor, he has the opportunity to take that ball to the house at any time. And on the same side for East Forsyth, J.P. Gilchrist has the opportunity. He's an athletic wide receiver / punter for them. Watch out for the fake punts. With that being said, it is a packed crowd. Tonight is going to be a great game. So, folks at home, get your popcorn, get your drinks, and get your seat, because you're in for a treat. Back to you, Evan.
Thanks, Matt. This sure seems to be a dynamic playoff matchup. Seeding implications, a chance to host a playoff round, all that on the line. We haven't hit Halloween yet. What a treat tonight here in Winston-Salem. We come back, opening kickoff and lineups. Mount Tabor, East Forsyth on our My48 Game of the Week. Let's dive into our keys to this matchup. And Mark, for East Forsyth on the road, how do they get the run game going early?
Oh, it's got to be playing a physical brand of football. You're going up against a physical opponent. You've got to bring that level of attention and detail early on, and then winning the mental game. Something that East Forsyth has had issues with through the years has been penalties. You got to tighten that up if you're going to come away with a win here tonight. Mount Tabor, play fast, play physical. This is what they do. They play their game here tonight. Schematically, they'll be great. and then getting Bryce Baker in that passing game for East Forsyth off balance, off kilter, is going to pay big dividends if they can do that.
D1 prospects all over the field. And it starts with Bryce Baker, the UNC committed quarterback.
I'll tell you what, this is probably the hardest players we had to pick so far this season. But Bryce Baker is a nightmare to go up against as a defense, throwing and running the football. Going over to Mount Tabor, again, a lot of stars on that side. But Jadon Blair is the guy that makes it go defensively, the guy that stirs the drink, so to speak. A great safety. We're going to see a lot of him here tonight on the back end of that Mount Tabor defense.
Double-digit Division I prospects, the lone top 10 matchup in the state. And how are you not ready for some playoff caliber football here in week 6 of the regular season? East Forsyth won last year's contest on a last-second touchdown. Something tells me we're in for a treat again here tonight. Jalen Murray back to receive. And let's get the party started here in the heart of Winston-Salem. Kickoff for the Central Piedmont Conference. Title game implications tonight. And we're underway. Returnable for J.P. Gilchrist. Gilchrist turns around. And he's brought down outside the 20. And here's where Bryce Baker will take over. Baker, part of this Mountain Fried Chicken starting offense that scores 54 points a game, Mark. It's a receiving core. Gilchrist, Richburg, great talent, and they complement one of the best quarterbacks in the state.
They sure do. Don't forget about Rottweiler and that running game as well. They are going to be a nightmare if you cannot bottle them up here tonight on these early downs.
300 yards passing, 220 yards rushing a night. And on Thursday with some weather, a 55-point game. Bryce Baker in this offense under longtime coordinator Ron Horton, who was the former Parkland head coach. They have settled into this senior quarterback. 15 touchdowns to 1 pick. It's a first down keeper, and Baker goes down. Great pursuit by Nas Blackman in this D-line. And here is part of the starting lineup, Mountain Fried Chicken. Matthias Banks back from an ACL injury this year, anchoring a really strong D-line.
He sure is, and Malik Garrison anchors a linebacking core that is spectacular. Sideline to sideline, physical at the point of attack. Exactly what you want out of your guys backing up that terrific defensive front.
Due to Hurricane Helene, Mount Tabor played Monday and shut out a 45-point win. Here's second down, quick pass. Murray is spun down, and Jadon Blair, the Notre Dame commit, his physicality is a difference maker.
It sure is. You see it right there, just tacking down the field. You see that quick pass go out. Don't hesitate, dive down on that football. Jadon Blair makes a sound tackle in the open field, and now something that this East Forsyth offense not used to, 3rd and long.
Blair and Peterkin, 2 Division I recruits on this defense.
3rd and 8 for the Eagles.
Baker, the most efficient passer in the state. No one's done it better in terms of touchdowns to picks this year. Here's 3rd and 8. Baker, 4-man rush, has time. Baker runs, great speed. He is right at the sticks and a hard hit. Right now the officials rule him short of a first, but they'll measure this. And how about the thunder there from Tartan Thacker?
Well, only 4 guys come on that pressure, so Mount Tabor elects to drop back, protect that passing game. Great, again, tackling in the open field. What a play to bring down Bryce Baker before he gets to the sticks.
They rule it a first down. It's a Crescent Ford first down. Let's ride to the game at an F-150 from Crescent Ford.
That running game has balanced out the passing game really well, but you still have to understand, Bryce Baker is mobile. He can run the football if need be this year.
Baker 7th in the state in passing, but also 200 yards on the ground this year. He can run. We'll head up to Mac Brown's program just across the state here in a week, in a season. We hit the start of October. We have a whistle and a flag, first flag of the game. Here's our lead ref, Gary Overton.
And this is the aspect of East Forsyth that, again, over the years has been their biggest weakness. It's the mental part of the game, getting out there, not committing these penalties, especially from a procedural standpoint. You cannot have first downs backed up like this because of delay of games.
Now 1st and 15. It's a handoff. This is Rottweiler, who runs like a pit bull, and he gets jumped on like a dog pile for a gain of 1. Now this dog mentality of Mount Tabor's defense, they lead the Central Piedmont in tackles for loss. Right there, this is how they can win this game.
It sure is. You saw right at the very end there, Jadon Blair comes up from his safety spot, and was it really necessary? Or excuse me, it wasn't Blair. Coming up from the safety spot down the field, nevertheless, a defender goes over the top. That's setting a tone early on that no matter what is going on, they're playing to and through the whistle.
That's team captain Kamari Shell, the safety. He's number 3 tonight, the senior. Baker on 2nd and 13. Play action. Baker out of the pocket. Baker, pump fake. Nice move. Baker has the first. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage. This might be coming back. And a holding to bring it back 10 yards. Now, Mark, East Forsyth came into this game 60 yards of penalties a game. How do they clean this up?
Well, and that's going to be the biggest aspect for them here tonight if they want to come away with a win. The penalty part of the game is the biggest thing that struck them. And even when we talked to Coach Tabor this week, he said, look, we've cleaned up a lot of the holding calls that we've had the last couple of years, but this time gets outside the framework. As soon as Baker scrambles, you got to let go, feel where he is on the field as an offensive lineman. It's a tough spot to be in, but you've got to be aware of where your quarterback is.
That's Elijah Vandergrift, the junior O-lineman on the hold. So now it's 2nd and 23. Baker, intentional rollout. Throws middle, off the hands, incomplete. Jadon Blair nearly for the pick. And he wanted the slot receiver, Kendall Sawyer.
Had him right there too. Coverage was tight, but it was a good throw into coverage. But you're going to go out there. If you're Sawyer, you got to make that catch. Hits him right in the face mask, and Blair is right there to almost make that interception. Almost a devastating play on the first drive of the game for East. 3
Division I corners, no interceptions this year for Mount Tabor. They've done so much well, but that's one area of improvement. For this defense led by Ron Dunlap. Now 3rd and forever. Baker intentional run, gets a block. He needs 23, and he'll dive there. That's a quality stop for Mount Tabor early in this game.
Yeah, and taking advantage of what the opponent is doing, and that's hurting themselves. These penalties knocked this drive off kilter, and they weren't able to get back in front of the sticks and back on schedule. The design run here gets yardage, but again, not nearly enough to move the sticks for a second time on this drive.
Wow, and if you're Will Rowe, you're inches away from a penalty. Yeah. Play smart there defensively.
Again, Mount Tabor is going to be physical, and sometimes that goes against them. That over-physical play will come back to bite them, but this time saves them on the drive.
This is J.P. Gilchrist, the receiver/punter, and he booms it away. That goes out of bounds, so a really bad punt. Needed 23 for the first, doesn't even get that, and great field position to take the timeout. Can Mount Tabor take advantage? Our game of the night here at Winston-Salem resumes after this.
As the offense comes back onto the field, we talked to Coach Tyshawn Brown yesterday, and he said Mount Tabor is known for their speed and toughness. Despite not being the biggest team, their offense is versatile and with the ability to run and pass. And as the offense comes onto the field, look for them to give you a dose of run heavy, but they also have 2 star receivers in their D1 prospects. Up to you, Evan.
Thank you, Matt. We have 2 O-linemen on this crew tonight. Matt Gibson, Mark Covert. I'm Evan Budrovich. A Mount Tabor team that played Monday and ran the ball for 325 yards. Part of this Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup is Lane Albright, the senior QB, and a great tailback in Zion Thompson.
Sure is. He's like a bowling ball in the backfield. See it right there. Stocky guy, but hard to bring down when he gets a full head of steam going.
Incredible field position after the poor punt. Albright on first down, feeds Thompson. And Thompson loses a yard. Good pursuit by this East Forsyth defensive line, part of our Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup. Winston-Salem's original fried chicken that's not greasy. Brian Godfrey's a dude, 370 pounds in the middle, and anchors this D-line.
If you like beef, we got it here tonight on all levels. Brian Godfrey, a space eater in the middle of that defense. Will be pivotal against a physical offensive line in Mount Tabor.
Nathan Stewart, 50 tackles in the middle, anchors a really good East Forsyth defense. Only gives up 9 points a game coming in.
So prolific, so fast, and very skilled on the back end.
Now 2nd and long. Albright with a blitz. Has to escape, and he's down. That's Robbie Whitney, the senior, with his 7th sack, and that's a matchup East Forsyth can take advantage.
It sure is. And pouncing on the other side came off real early. I mean, got a great jump on the football. Maybe sent Albright off his path a little bit, but great pressure by Robbie Whitney on the backside to finish that play off and stop Albright, before he steps up into the pocket.
Whitney was first team all CPC, Central Piedmont a year ago. Undersized but great speed. Now 3rd and 17 off field position. Here's the screen, incomplete, and Thompson ran into his own lineman, Mark.
Ran into his own lineman, and just a little bit too long to develop that time. Even there, that screen's got to be hitting a little quicker. The pass has to get out there a little faster. If you're Lane Albright, just get it out. You got now. I mean, you got to get that out faster, not lob it through the air. Give your guys a chance to get downfield and block.
You see the reaction from the guard, DeMarcus Mashak. He thought he had a convoy. Instead, it turned into a logjam on the highway. So a slow start for both offenses. Here's James Price, the first-year punter now in.
A little bit of what we thought here early on, too. A little bit of a slugfest. We're trying to feel each other out. You've got the first couple plays scripted.
Good punt from Smith. Murray lets it bounce, and it rolls perfectly for Mount Tabor. Right there at the 10. 2 of the top 10 teams in the state, and we have 2 punts in the first 6 minutes. Bryce Baker and crew come back when we return.
City Sports, Jimmy Johnston.
Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. At Caring Hands Home Health, we understand the happiness of your loved ones is important to their overall wellness. That's the student section for East Forsyth traveling across the region from Kernersville here into Winston-Salem. And right now, Mark, this is the matchup of undefeated teams in the CPC. That's head coach Todd Willard in year 30 as a head coach. And he said this team is just as good as his 2018 state title club.
Sure is, and they're in for a slugfest here tonight. When you get these heavyweight fights, usually you got them kind of feeling each other out a little bit, going blow for blow right now. 2 punts for each offense on their first drives.
Bryce Baker works from his 10. Feeds the tailback Rottweiler, and no room on first down. Nice stop from John Coles III, the starting O-lineman and D-lineman.
Another one of those guys up front, physical. Watch the play here, just goes down, crashes down the running back, doesn't even go for Baker that time, follows Rottweiler all the way into the hole. Great stop.
This 4-3 defensive front limit opponents under 100 yards rushing. That's the strength of the defense under Rod Dunlap.
That's what's been the biggest difference maker offensively for East Forsyth this year.
Baker on 2nd and 10, play action, pump fake. Baker sprinting, now throws, oh, a completion. Jair Richburg the catch, and that's a play the UNC commit could take to Mac Brown at the next level.
Absolutely, and great job also on the back end. That time Richburg comes back. We saw a bit of a coming out party for him last year between these two teams. This time, follows his quarterback, goes right along with him on the scramble drill, and works that sideline with finesse.
The lineage of quarterbacks, Sam Howell, Drake May, who have thrived under Chip Lindsey, as here's a first down handoff. Now a breakaway. Corey Blair deep into Mount Tabor territory. And Blair scores. There is a flag, but 72 yards on the score.
And what a scamper up the middle, breaks tackles, and then the speed to get away from the back of that Tabor defense. However, I wonder if they're gonna catch him for a taunt, and that's gonna rule the touchdown down inside roughly about the 5.
It's a great question. Was he already in before the taunting, or was that during the play? So let's see what Gary Overton has drawn up.
Clearly saw him turn around. And at that point, that's enough for the officials on this field to throw that flag, get that thing out of there. The only question is where he was on the field. And right now, the extra point unit is out for East.
So head coach Todd Willard gets an explanation. What do you got for us, Gary? So they'll take the penalty yardage on the kickoff, and what a run for Blair, his 3rd touchdown of the year.
And you can see he's getting coached up there. Todd Willard not happy, understandably so. In a game like this, because that penalty is now going to go on the kickoff, so that's going to move that back. But boy, the run at the beginning of all of that, the balance and the speed to finish it off.
That's Brady Cressamore on the extra point. And a good start. That's 3 plays, 90 yards. And East Forsyth explosive for the 73-yard score.
I mean, you cannot ask for a better second drive there. The explosiveness, this running game, so important to what they've done this year. In that time, breaking into open field, Corey Blair, a blur on the back end. There's your taunting.
So watch where the celebration starts.
I'm a little surprised they didn't end up calling that before he was in the end zone. The flag came out, and the taunting very clearly started before he crossed the goal line. But man, what a run. What a response after a sluggish first drive.
Well, both offenses were stagnant, and
Yes.
that's the big play that East Forsyth has lived on this year.
Yeah.
Eagles have 10 touchdowns of 50 or more yards. This is not a shock that we've seen, but in a game like this, what a game-changing play.
Well, for a defense that's going to be aggressive, sometimes you live and die by that sword. And if you are over-aggressive and you over-pursue, you leave some of those running lanes open. One tackle's broken, sometimes there's no one else back there to bring the ball carrier down. That's just what you do sometimes as an aggressive defense.
Here's the senior kicker, Brady Cressamore. And the special teams of Mount Tabor is elite. Snook Peterkin, an all-state return man, back for the Spartans. That ball goes well away from Peterkin. Working from the 15. Oh, a toss to Peterkin. He needs a block. And Peterkin out past the 40, where he truck sticks 3. That is a game changer on offense.
Sure is. And you knew he was going to get his hands on the football at some point. We highlight Jadon Blair in the opening. But man, oh man, we could have very easily talked about this young man. Snook Peterkin is as good as they come as an all-around football player on the field. Fast, electric, dialed in at all times, and never wants to come off the field. You can see why.
Snook Peterkin, who'll be playing football at Virginia Tech next year. Elite talent. Now he's in the backfield on first down. Albright, the Davidson commit, takes the snap, feeds Peterkin. Good blocking. And Peterkin drags a man to the 49. That's a gain of 6.
Very patient run that time by Snook out on the edge, just follows his blockers, watches it, lets it develop, and then has the burst to get upfield once he finds an opening. Lineman getting out in front, great pulling action by them as well.
And Mark, you played offensive line in college. How important is it to get your best players in space?
Well, you got to get them in space, and you've got to allow them to work and have clarity down the field. If they can muck things up and throw that defense off kilter just a little bit, it gives those ball carriers more room to work with.
Now 2nd and 4. Peterkin motions. It's Thompson. That opens space. Thompson down the sideline. Tripped up at the 35 and a nice run.
And here we go. Offense is starting to wake up a little bit. Those big guys up front opening a lane, and great blocking on the perimeter as well. Zion Thompson capitalizes. See here, one shed of a tackle. Gets down the sideline.
That's a Crescent Ford first down right of the game, and an F-150 from Crescent Ford. Opening punts for these top 10 teams in the state. Now a touchdown, 73, and a nice drive for Mount Tabor. Under new O-coordinator Gunnar Klontz. And now a whistle. Looks like a timeout for East Forsyth. Derek Bryant, the defensive coordinator, and his staff will talk things over. What a story for Lane Albright. He played at R.J. Reynolds his first 2 years. That was a club that won an average of 2 games a year in the league. He comes to Mount Tabor. Last season, 25 touchdowns, but not explosive in the pass game. He's developed that as a senior.
And that's been from having a full offseason with this coaching staff. Once you have a better understanding of your offense, especially at the quarterback position, you are bound to thrive more. And that's exactly what Lane Albright has done this offseason. He took it to heart, learned this new scheme, got in there, worked with the guys, and became a leader for this offense. And that's exactly what we've seen for the first 5 weeks of this season. He's commanded this offense, driven them down the field, gotten points on the board, and now they're sitting at 4-1 with a chance to make a major statement here tonight because of it.
Lane Albright, this is interesting. He said they developed the drag route and the dig route with receivers. He'd always throw the go route, he could throw the flat, but that adding to his passing repertoire has built him into a Division I player.
And really those drag routes and those other routes down the tree, when you can start throwing vertically, that's great. But when you can start anticipating and making those throws where they've come across the field and you've got to make those split decisions, that's where you start to elevate your game. And when you can open that up and you can make those angled throws, it's going to go a long way, not just to leading your team to victory, but getting those looks from scouts. And Davidson appears like they've got a pretty good one on their way.
Now a fresh set of downs. Peterkin in motion from the 39. Play action. Pressure coming. Albright reads it and goes short to Peterkin. Great vision. Peterkin jukes. Beats a man. Touchdown, Mount Tabor. We mentioned the vision of Albright on full display from 40.
How about the patience from Lane Albright? Pressure running him down the entire play. Hangs onto the football. At some point, you got to get rid of that thing. Hangs on at the last second, and somehow this defense loses track of the most dangerous player on this Mount Tabor offense. Snook Peterkin wide open along the sideline, and once he's inside the 20 in the open field, you can kiss it goodbye.
How did Albright escape that pressure?
Just kept moving. Just stayed along with the play, kept directing traffic, but didn't slow down. That's sensing the pressure, that's sensing what is developing around you and making a play on the run.
One of the best plays you'll see in high school football, 34-yard pass. And now Tabor does not have an extra man for the extra point. So they'll take the penalty. The extra 5 yards. David Thiel was sprinting on. Not too many times a Virginia Tech commit just hides in the middle of the field if you're Snook Peterkin.
No kidding. I mean, unreal. Defensively, you've got to keep up with a few players, and this has to be threat number 1. And no pun intended there, of course, with the jersey number.
That's Peterkin's 5th touchdown of the year. And here's Andy Diaz to kick. First year playing varsity football. And that one sneaks through. 7 apiece late in this first quarter.
Watch here, Albright senses that pressure, but keeps going.
I mean, Whitney's ready to jump on top of him.
He is right there, but keeps sensing, keeps directing traffic with those eyes down the field. Snook Peterkin feels that, gets open for his quarterback. You see the eyes go back to the middle of the field. The defense flows that way. They lose track.
It's like playing the Fred Flintstone sound effect. And just watching him scoot through all that trouble.
Down the field.
Elite receiver, but what a play by the quarterback, too.
That is understanding not just the offense, but the game itself. Manipulate the defense with your eyes. If you're looking at the middle of the field, they're going to flow that way. That zone defense breaks down. Peterkin finds open room, and there was no one near him when he caught that football.
Snook Peterkin, his older brother, JP, was an all-conference receiver just 2 years ago at Mount Tabor. Now the younger brother, Snook, is a senior. And there's a third Peterkin starting high school in a couple years. So
watch out.
Keep your eyes on that down the road.
He is electric. Absolutely phenomenal player, offensively and defensively. I'm sure that is not the last time we will see Snook Peterkin make a play here tonight.
This is Bowen Blackwell, the kickoff man. Blackwell, who was on the soccer team this summer and got picked up in a tryout in early August. You gotta love high school football. And now sends it away. Good kick inside the 5 for Gilchrist. Gilchrist has a seam versus the kicker. Oh, nice tackle to save the touchdown. That's Mount Tabor's Jalen Davis. Otherwise, Gilchrist had reservations for 6.
Sure did. What a play in the open field to come off that block. Look at this, great blocking. Look, right there, hesitation, then the burst to get upfield. Davis doesn't make that tackle. It is all over.
That's the old Pete Carroll USC Trojan day, the hip drop and spin tackle.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're gone for 6.
Unbelievable play by Davis to shed the block and make that tackle.
Bryce Baker back to work after the 73-yard score. And now a false start. Mark, that's 4 penalties on East.
At some point, I mean, we're going to start sounding like a broken record, but this is the one thing that has hindered this team, especially offensively. These procedural penalties absolutely killed them.
And what did Tabor tell us this week? This has been our best year of penalties in my recent memory. A club that's won the 18 and 19 state title, but averaging over 60 yards of penalties a game.
And that's just averaging. So there's certainly games where they have been worse than those 60 yards.
Baker feeds his tailback, and that's going nowhere. Good pursuit by Malik Garrison, the starting middle linebacker.
Right now, defensively, you go see your offense go down the field. And the response right now, Mount Tabor still playing physical. We knew that was going to happen. Tyshawn Brown had these guys ready to go throughout the week, despite playing just 4 days ago.
Yeah, Mount Tabor played Monday and shut out R.J. Reynolds. East Forsyth played Thursday, had a little more rest. And here's the next lineage of UNC quarterbacks, Bryce Baker. Murray in motion, there's a play action. Baker forced to move, fires to Murray, nice catch, breaks 1, and actually gains a couple of yards. Great finish there. Jalen Murray gets a couple.
And it kind of seemed like he was dropping back. There was a Mount Tabor defender gunning down the field at him, had his eyes locked on. Great job by Murray to elude that defender and then get past Blair, only enough to pick up an extra yard.
Can coordinator Ron Horton find some time for his quarterback? Here's Baker on 3rd and 10. 4-man rush. Baker throws short. Nice catch and a first. Out of bounds goes Corey Blair, the senior tight end.
Blair's already left his mark on this game with the long touchdown run already. So he just comes out of the backfield, little rub route to the outside. Nice easy pitch and catch out on the perimeter.
And this is why you love high school football. Corey Blair is cousins with Jadon Blair, who's the safety for Mount Tabor.
Get these in-area rivalries that take place. Usually it's friends going against each other, much less family.
Into Mount Tabor territory, it's play action. Baker throws, but Murray couldn't find it. Blair on the coverage, Jadon Blair there. Now we have an ineligible man downfield on East. Take me through the timing of that route as an O-lineman.
Well, it's almost kind of interesting because they must have had it gotten out there quick because the throw was very fast, and that was because of the pressure that Mount Tabor brought. Bryce Baker may have wanted to hold on to that ball for a split second longer to allow his receiver to clear down the field. So I'm wondering if someone just got a little too antsy and got down the field too fast. But for something that quick, normally it's not an instance where you've got those ineligible guys down the field just yet.
It's a loss of downs and the yardage. 5 penalties for East Forsyth, who came into the game 5th in the state in the rankings. Mount Tabor came in number 10. I mean, this is a third, fourth round playoff preview right here.
Yeah, it is. As close as we're going to get to a playoff game in the state in the month of October.
Okay, so just the yardage accepted. It's 1st and 15.
Okay. But this has been electric so far. These heavyweights have been going blow for blow against each other, tick for tack.
Murray in motion. Look at the quarterback calling out the blitz. It's a play action. Picked up. Deep shot over Jai Richburg. And he had reservations for a touchdown.
He stopped running in the middle of his route. It almost looked like he wanted to settle down once he got up the seam. If he keeps going, that's 6. See there, Bryce Baker is anticipating going down the field. You'll see him here, he just kind of stops for a second. That's stutter. Just keep running down the field, trust your quarterback. He's leading you to the right spot, and you're wide open.
Jai Richburg, who has offers from all 4 ACC schools in the state, sets up 2nd and 15. Between a UNC quarterback, a Wake Forest or an NC State or UNC receiver, a lot of talent on this offense. And an UNC commit on the left tackle position, Jabian Shabazz. Now play action. Baker throws short. That's Murray in the Tabor territory. Great blocking. And Murray tripped up at the 36. That's a first down.
Left wide open, all by himself in the flat that time. Great presence of mind by Bryce Baker to check down to your running back. That's one thing that we heard this year he has done more of. Take those easy throws into the flat and let your guys go to work with the football in their hands.
36 catches for the running back, a dual threat. Now Blair bangs into his cousin, and then Shadon slams him down after the Crescent Ford first down. But hold on, there's a flag now. Maybe a late hit.
Very late.
So both teams slightly losing that composure here early.
Knew it was going to get a little rowdy here tonight, a little chippy between these two teams. They know what's at stake here. They know they need to set that tone early on. Still got to do it within the parameters of the game.
So Jadon Blair hits his cousin after the play, and it's a 15-yard penalty. On Thanksgiving, totally fine. In a high school playoff implication game like this, that'll cost you.
It's not a great play. Got to keep your composure. Notre Dame commit just getting a little too far ahead of himself. And I wonder, yeah, right there.
Clear shove.
Yep.
Now inside the red zone for the first time. The Cook Reynolds red zone.
Defense has to bend, not break here if you're Mount Tabor.
Baker on first down. Blitz comes. Baker escapes. Throws. Touchdown, Jai Richburg. That's a next level play from Baker to find his receiver, Jai Richburg.
Miscommunication on the back end leaves guys wide open. You certainly can't have that once the opponent is inside the red zone. That time Bryce Baker feels the pressure, steps up, the defense reacts, and there was no one there to take away Richburg in the back of the end zone. Good recognition, letting the play develop and taking advantage of what the defense gives you.
Freesmore on the extra point, that's good. And you ask this East Forsyth coaching staff, where's Baker grown the most? His ability to break plays down, find the second receiver, third option, and that time it's Richburg for his 7th score.
It's been both quarterbacks. We already talked about Albright and his development, but the same thing can be said about the UNC commit. Bryce Baker has done a great job of feeling the game this year, not just going on ability. Watch this. Again, stepping up, you feel those defenders come towards you, they shift. And I don't know if Richburg may have stepped out of the back of the end zone initially. His right foot almost seemed like it may have been out.
Yeah.
That was close.
That's walking a tightrope. Watch that back foot. Okay, no, he just snuck it in.
Left foot got down first. You only need the 1 foot in high school. Same rules apply in high school as they do in college. That heel may just touch, but the left foot comes down first. That's good.
Richburg knew it too. That was really close.
But again, reading that defense, feeling where they're going. Great job by Bryce Baker, and good job as well by Jai Richburg to feel it, communicate with your eyes, find it for the score.
Tonight's game is being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook page by Novant Health. Best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care, and a great live YouTube stream. Come check us out anytime. I heard there's food at halftime.
What?
This is the Carolina Classic Fair these next 2 weeks, beginning today. And now the biggest treat of them all, fried Oreos. I mean, high school football.
Don't do that to me.
We'll see at halftime what comes up into the booth. Crismore to send it away. This has got a booming leg and into the end zone. So after Lane Albright's brilliance on a 38-yard Houdiniac, he takes the field here from the 25.
And now they come back out on the field again, down a touchdown. How do you continue to respond against a team that knows they can score the football when they are firing on all cylinders, even against a formidable defense like the one that Mount Tabor fields?
My apologies. In the high school game, it's at the 20-yard line. In the college game, it's the 25. And in the pros, it's the 30. So every level you go, it's a different starting spot.
No? Is it the 30 now? I thought it was still the 25 in the NFL.
Or at least they're pushing to the 30.
They're trying to.
We'll get it all figured out. With Mark Covert and Matt Gibson, I'm Evan Budrovich. Great night. Top 10 teams in the state. East Forsyth, 5th overall. Mount Tabor, 10th in the state. And a one-score game. Lane Albright directing traffic with the play clock at 5. And here's first down. It's Peterkin. Snook surveys. There's a flag, and Peterkin gains 8. This could be coming back.
Certainly in the area of a hold.
There's a flag on the play.
And getting on the perimeter, this offense, dangerous. As long as they are not penalizing themselves.
It's Naz Blackman, the senior linebacker, on the hold. Self-inflicted wounds a factor tonight.
Yeah. And really more so on the East Forsyth side, but that has not stopped them from scoring points just yet. Outside of that first drive, they've been executing still at a high level the last 2. Now we're going to see, with Mount Tabor backing up a little bit, what are they going to do with 3 downs to go to pick up a fresh set?
Mount Tabor on Monday ran the ball 37 times for 320 yards.
See how the defense is a little more spread out in the middle of the field right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a run.
Here's 1st and 20. It's Thompson on the ground. Nice hole for Thompson, and he gets all the penalty yardage back, or pretty close. 2nd and long upcoming.
What you spread this defense out. You get one-on-one matchups. Acronym you'll hear is Bob, big on big. Those big guys up front go to work, and then you got a bowling ball of a running back and Zion Thompson behind them. Usually works out pretty well.
Thompson, a 3-year starter at tailback, nearing 1,000 career yards. Oh, movement. And another penalty. That's 6 for East Forsyth.
Outside penalty against East Forsyth.
The backup DB there. That's Cody Brown going offside.
It's a smart sequence of football for Mount Tabor here. Spread the defense out, get an effective run on first down. Now you go with the dummy cadence, realizing the defense wants to get pressure. Draw them off sides.
From 1st and 20 to now 2nd and 8. Albright, quick toss through the hands of Jaden Mafuth. The saber-toothed cat couldn't squeeze it, and it's 3rd and long.
Could not get that football down just enough. Mafuth had him right there. He has the inside track on that slant. He got position. Everything was there. Just a little bit further down for Albright. You've got to catch and run for a first down, if not more.
Albright's one big completion was the 40-yard touchdown. Otherwise, he hasn't found a pass just yet.
Expect this defense of East Forsyth now to bring pressure. 3rd and long, they want to get back there and move Lane Albright off his mark.
Offense changing the play with 5 on the clock. Albright on 3rd down, has time. Albright steps up, pump fake. Look at Albright go. First down, Lane Albright. The 2nd level plays for the quarterback tonight have been spectacular.
Feeling the pressure, and for those of you at home that don't know, Davidson runs an option offense, so your quarterback had better be able to move. Lane Albright showing off the wheels here. Pump fakes, gets a defender in the air, and takes advantage of the open space for the first down.
Lane Albright running like Baker Mayfield last night for the Bucs, forcing overtime against Atlanta. He is shifty in the pocket.
And I will tell you my fantasy team appreciates him for it. But great play that time by Lane Albright. Again, once you're feeling that pressure, feeling the game and letting it come to you, it helps exponentially for your development and your team's success. We would like to thank Mike Evans as well.
2 touchdowns for Evans, a thrilling overtime game. Albright, play action, rolls out. Albright, pressure, and he's dragged down. Great pursuit from Kenyon Smith and others on the sack.
See, the difference there was that pressure from the backside gets home because there was a cutoff point.
Ooh,
defense has contained.
And Kenyon Smith, he landed awkwardly, and here come the trainers. Let's hope Kenyon's okay. Kind of dragged the QB down, and there was an awkward landing there.
And a terrific linebacker, too, going alongside Nathan Stewart. Last week, 8 tackles, 20 on the season in total, so certainly a guy who's starting to contribute more as a senior on this defense.
Injured Eagles, number 2, Kenyon Smith.
A first quarter that has huge playoff implications, and you're starting to feel like both teams, Mount Tabor, East Forsyth, are getting a better feel for their offenses after a slow start.
Again, once you have those scripted plays, usually you go through 10, 15 plays maybe that you write down throughout the week, like, hey, we're going to run this, and it allows you to feel out what your opponent is doing schematically, and you develop a game plan more in depth from there. These defenses, or excuse me, these offenses found what they liked against the respective defense they were going up against. And they found some points here early on in this ball game. Evan, I feel like we really didn't know what kind of ball game we were going to get coming into this one. You know, you kind of heard, well, the explosive offenses are there, but these are 2 great defenses as well. It's certainly a good sign just to see Kenyon Smith up on his feet.
Yeah, we'll have Matt keep tabs on that, because I'm not sure how quickly Kenyon Smith will come back into the game.
But we just didn't know realistically what kind of game we were getting. It could have been a slugfest. It could have been an offensive shootout. And right now through the first quarter, we've gotten a little bit of both.
And that ends the first quarter here in Winston-Salem. We'll step aside. High scoring first, East Forsyth, Mount Tabor. A battle for a top 10 spot in the state. We got the second quarter next. Don't go anywhere here on My 48. Great news, we're back with tonight's winning row. Everyone in that row, look, they're all steamed up and ready to go. The winning row receive free tickets to the fair, which begins today, October 4th through the 13th. Carolina Classic Fair, 10 days of awesome. Tickets are available now.
How about the guys up front, the masks looking shiesty?
The guys are ready for the fair, and they're ready for a great football game.
The amount of megaphones in that student section right now, is that concerning? Like that many people can't hear with one?
They definitely want to make some noise tonight.
Apparently.
East Forsyth, though, a one-touchdown lead. Jair Richburg, the go-ahead score late in the first quarter. And here's Lane Albright, who's been held in check passing, 1 of 3. Feeds Blair. Blair reverses. Peterkin throws. What a catch! Albright and creativity from this Mount Tabor offense.
Told you. This is a kid who can do it all. They pitch it around, get it to your Notre Dame commit, who tosses it to your Virginia Tech commit, who then gets it down the field to your Davidson commit. This offense is spectacular, and if you want to win a game like this, you're going to have to take a couple of those risks. Some of these gadget plays to get this defense off balance. Great call offensively, great execution.
Now first down near midfield. It's the tailback, Kamari Shell. Shell shimmies, and he's near a first as well. One of the biggest runs of the night for Mount Tabor.
Great blocking up front.
They'll officially give him 8 yards.
Shell, a tough runner, one of those guys on this offense that hasn't done a lot, or at least hasn't had the opportunity so far. Only 11 rushes on the year, but has been great when he's toted the football. Over 7 yards a carry.
They call Kamari Shell the greatest of all time, the GOAT, because he never cramps in games. It goes back to memory of Jaquan Albright, a great name in Mount Tabor history. Now a handoff to Shell, who stays hydrated and gets the first down. Albright helped win a state title for Mount Tabor 3 years ago in 21, and now it's Shell, the next generation, picking up the first.
Hard runner, gets down the field as well. Seen him defensively too, make some plays from that safety spot.
In this matchup, East won a title in 18 and 19. Tabor won in 21. 3 of the last 6 years, one of these two's lifted a trophy.
A lot of pedigree on this field here tonight. A lot of players still left over that remember what those feelings are like.
Albright out of the pocket. Quarterback design run, and back to the line of scrimmage. Good stop by Solomon Brown.
And that's what you want if you're Mount Tabor, excuse me, not Mount Tabor, but East Forsyth. Defensively, you set that edge, so then Albright has to step up closer to the line of scrimmage and let those other defenders scrape over the top and make a play once he's up around the line.
That D-line of Whitney and Hayes getting a lot of pressure on Albright, who only threw the ball 8 times on Monday. Tabor handed it off for 35 carries.
I think you realize coming into a matchup like this, if you can dominate an opponent one way and not put a lot of stuff on film, don't have to, it's exactly what they did.
Out tonight into East territory, second down. Here's Thompson, nice hole, and Thompson spins for 4. How important, how do you get the running game going if you're Mount Tabor?
Well, finding those little niches, and right now it seems like outside along the edge, they're finding some success. Going into the heart and the teeth of this East Forsyth defense is not easy. So what do? Spread them out, get these athletic offensive linemen out in space, and these running backs, one cut and you're upfield, almost a little bit of zone blocking.
Albright to the line quick, and an audible. Mount Tabor has never beaten East Forsyth as a 4A opponent. They're down a touchdown here. And before the snap, there's some movement.
There's offsides.
That explains Keymore Pouncey's great start.
He'd been toying with it a little bit. We've seen some great jumps from him tonight. He's trying to anticipate that snap instead of simply reacting to the football, and he's gotten some of that pressure off the edge because of it. Not allowing Lane Albright to get super comfortable in the pocket, but this time a little too fast. The refs catch him.
2 of the best teams here in the Central Piedmont. This is the Big Ten of high school football. You think Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. Well, East is top 10, Mount Tabor's 10. West Forsyth in the top 25. And which of these teams can win a state title? It's been 5 years since the CPC team's done it. As Thompson gets it on the ground, can he be the spark plug in a great pursuit from this East defense? There's conferences in Charlotte that have won titles, Butler, Charlotte Catholic Independent, but in the Triad area, these two clubs, East and Mount Tabor, have a chance to make a run.
I think every single year we come into play, you know that this team is going to be, or excuse me, not this team, but someone in this conference is going to be uber competitive throughout the state, if not multiple teams. And that's certainly the case this year. You look around the state, there are a few conferences that are going to be more competitive than what the CPC is year in and year out. And they're on that track yet again this year. Again, those 3 teams that are in that top 25 ranking, it's huge.
CPC sent 5 to the playoffs last year. Here's first down for Albright. Running back was confused, then Shell cuts it back. Oh, and Shell is body slammed. O'Marion Hayes, but wait, there's a flag. Now, where is this flag? It's at the line of scrimmage. Looks like it's on Tabor. Yeah, see, one of the running backs was going, the other one wasn't. They'll decline the penalty.
It's right there. Since Zion Thompson was going a little bit too fast, but my goodness. Omarion Hayes is a big man in the middle of that defense.
Guess what? A UNC offer, Omarion Hayes.
Can't say I'm surprised. You got that size, you're going to draw the eyes of scouts nationwide.
That's 6 feet, 350. And the coaches said that's generous. He is a tank in the middle. 2nd and 12 off the 5th penalty for Tabor. Back to Thompson. There's a hole. And Thompson turns it into 2, maybe 3. Not much in the running game tonight for Mount Tabor.
But it's those tough runs that pay dividends later on in the football game. Once you continue to pound away at that defense, 3rd and 4th quarter comes along, as cliche as it is. It's true. That defense gets tired. Your offensive linemen start feeling it a little bit. You start running behind them a little bit more as they turn out yards. And those gains become bigger and bigger, yard by yard, as the game goes along.
Mount Tabor had the 40-yard touchdown. No plays larger than 8 yards since. A lot of intermediate plays. Albright needs 8 here on 3rd down. Good blitz, picked up. Albright. Peterkin in coverage and pass interference. That's the DB, Zion Pleasant.
And if you're Pleasant, you got to wonder if you're getting too physical at a point where you don't need to be. I understand that it's Snook Peterkin you're covering, but he is well short of that 1st down marker from where the football was thrown. He had a group of defenders around him. Be smart there. Rely on your defensive teammates. Albright going to his best weapon on the outside, but look how many different defenders are right there. Just a little too physical at the point of attack. Swats the ball out, but because he was there too early.
With your secondary coach, Jimmy Eaton, a lot to coach on this week. 7 penalties now for Tabor.
And it's a week where you've got to be disciplined, where you've got weapons on both sides, because if it's not Peterkin, you've got Blair on the other side.
Now into the Cook Reynolds red zone here on 1st and 10. Albright, little play action. Albright reads, scrambles. Oh, Albright ruled down. Wait a second. Oh, they ruled his progress down. So that's a loss of 10.
Boy, that was a quick whistle.
After the touchdown he scored earlier, I'm surprised there, but it is a sack.
Pretty quick whistle from this officiating crew. I'm wondering, maybe that was a little too fast. You see here, you start thinking you got to start getting that football away there. That's a,
I mean, to me, you got to let him play.
yeah, it's a pretty quick whistle, in my opinion. So you have contact here, and then they're blowing the whistle dead there.
Ref rolled him down, though. Solomon Brown on the stop. So here's 2nd and 19. A blitz. Albright scrambles again. Albright running, juke. Albright nearing the 1st. Oh, he's just short. But what an effort. They may give it to him. But an injured player here. Oh, and it's Peterkin down. Okay, Peterkin's back on his feet. Wow, that would have been huge.
How about Albright scrambling around, feels that pressure again, just bounces outside, keeps those eyes down the field, directing traffic, and then pulls it down, and then it's a running ability for the future Davidson player.
And he's playing Mario Kart with a red shell, pushing David Thiel around right
There you go.
here.
Yep. So he grabs his lineman, tells him where to go, push your guy, guide him to get down the field. And now you go from 2nd and 19 to 3rd and inches because of an extraordinary play from your quarterback, Lane Albright.
Okay, Peterkin has come out of the game here. At least for a play, maybe 2. And he's going to go to the locker room. So how about that? Jadon Blair on the bench, Snook Peterkin in the locker room. And I think Mount Tabor's going to take a timeout. And talk this over. Did you see where Peterkin got hurt there?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, obviously he was down in the middle of the field, but there's so much going on, so much chaos. Once your quarterback starts scrambling, everything starts to scramble. Your receivers break off their routes, and they're trying to get open for their guy throwing the football. So it's just a big mess. You just don't know what happens. Bodies start flying around. But the fact that he was up and walking is certainly favorable as they check on him on the sidelines.
Mount Tabor knocking the door for a 2nd touchdown. And Matt Gibson has more.
Yeah, I got an opportunity to look at Snook Peterkin right now. And it's looking like a cramp. Might have not got enough water, but right now they have the massage gun going on to his left calf. So it could just be a cramp right now. It doesn't look too serious. Once he gets that fixed, should be back out there on the field.
Remember, Peterkin plays both ways every play of the game. And let's see if we can find it on this bottom part of your screen.
Nothing really there.
Okay, maybe right at the end.
Yeah.
So here's 3rd and short. No Peterkin, no Blair.
A lot of bodies in the backfield, though.
That's now Blackman, the tailback. Here's 3rd down. Albright feeds his fullback. That's a first, and just short of a touchdown. Nice run, setting up 1st and goal.
Get to those situations, 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches. It's all about bully ball. And playing that up front, moving those guys up front.
Feed the 200-pound fullback, Naz Blackman.
About as easy as it gets if you're Mount Tabor.
Tonight's game is also being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook page, sponsored by Novant Health. Best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care. Thanks for watching tonight. Oh, I don't need the shoe. Well, that's a storyline, no shoe. Albright on 1st and goal. Feeds Blackman. 1 shoe, 1 touchdown. You don't see that every day. That's old school football, and he scores from a yard.
No shoe, no problem, right? Doesn't need traction there, right there. Has 1 cleat on, only needs 1.
He's literally running with 1 shoe. It's a kid in the candy store.
How about that?
I didn't need it anyway. There's the shoe. Thank you very much.
Unreal. Again, great surge up front by that offensive line of Mount Tabor. Pushes that East Forsyth defense back into the end zone. A non-contest there as your Blackman benefits without 1 shoe.
And the Diaz kick is blocked. It's a dead ball in high school football. That's an Oxnard and Permar touchdown. We make wrongs right. And keep in mind, that is a missed extra point. Well, we got to go to the shoe shack tonight. Load up on some Skechers. Good news, it's a touchdown. Coming up at our U.S. Army halftime report, we'll have this week's Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athletes, interviews with the coaches, principals, and food. The U.S. Army, be all that you can be. And coming up, the sound effect makes it even better. We'll have our player of the game coming up in the second half. I don't know right now. It's pretty tough to say who's going to be our star of the game.
So many right now. We got a game that, for all the hype that is built up throughout the week and the coming weeks, it has lived up to every bit of it. Right now, it is a slugfest between these two teams.
A touchdown for Blackman, but the miss extra point keeps it a 1-point difference. The former soccer player, Bowen Blackwell, to boot it away. Gilchrist, nice catch. Has a couple blocks. Oh, and he's leveled. Resounding hit. And that is Jalen Springs. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health. We do our best to make your loved ones feel like they're being taken care of. And Jalen Springs taking care of us, just as our crew brings up some halftime traits that we'll eat later. Ooh, that looks good. We'll touch on that in a few minutes. We have a little bit of football first. Halfway through this second quarter, Bryce Baker back to work. Handoff, not much room, but this second-year running back, Cannon Rottweiler, who was the JV captain a year ago, he's earned some hard yards tonight.
He sure has, and he is the leading rusher on this football team so far through the year. 275 yards coming into this game. And again, Todd Willard said that the biggest improvement for this offense has been running the football in the traditional sense, getting your running backs the rock and allowing them to go to work.
Baker feeds Rottweiler. Oh, good pursuit. Banks the stop in the backfield. And Matthias Banks, who missed last year due to injury, this Princeton commit is making things happen.
Princeton commit, smart kid, understands the game really well. Also pretty tenacious along that defensive front. Watch him slice through, stunts inside, and recovers fast enough to bring Rottweiler down in the backfield. Had nothing to work with there, all because of the speed of Banks down on the inside.
Banks' 5th tackle of the night. And once again, Easton 3rd and long situations. They've done it all night. Here's 3rd and 6. Baker feels the blitz. It's picked up. Goes short. Nice catch. Oh, big hits. And not enough for the first. Murray is just short. Big stick from Angelo Moreno.
Now decision time. Where are you going to go here on 4th down? Offense looks like it's staying out on the field.
Maybe the punt unit coming out. Okay, looks like it.
Great stop on the back end of that play, though. Excellent job bringing them down short of the sticks.
4 minutes left. What do you think of that decision?
I think it's a sound decision right now. This defense is playing tenacious, and it is no secret they have gotten penetration into the backfield of East Forsyth so far in this football game.
So Tyshawn Brown will take a timeout. We're going to take the timeout as well. Mount Tabor gets a big stop, and now the Spartans with the football. We're 4 minutes away from fair food and a nice finish to this first half here on My 48. Stay tuned for the U.S. Army halftime report of this week's Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athletes, interviews with the principals, coaches, and more. U.S. Army, be all that you can be. And fair food coming up at halftime. What a great night here at Bob Sapp Field. 2 of the top 10 teams in the latest state rankings here in North Carolina. And here's the Running back, Jalen Murray. Hold on a second. It's a Wildcat. Murray to run. 4th and short, and he has it. First down.
Man, oh man.
So they changed the call after the timeout, and now the chains move.
The timeout by Mount Tabor, no less, gave them time to think about it. You wondered maybe they would change the call here. Wildcat direct up front. Great job offensively by those big guys up front to move that line of scrimmage back.
It's a Riddle tractor first down, making tall grass short, and a big decision from Ron Horton, the OC, whose offense scores 54 a game, but held in check tonight. Here's Baker. That time Murray has it. Great blocking. And the pursuit of these DBs. They're coming up, making tackles. Really nice night for the secondary.
Absolutely. Malik Garrison makes a stop there. The all-everything linebacker for this defense. Getting out there, shedding a block. Watch him feel right here. You get outside and then come downfield. Excellent stop. Man, oh man. That decision on 4th down. Keeps this drive alive, keeps this offense in business.
And it burns clock. 3 minutes left in the half. Baker goes to Rottweiler. Rottweiler escapes and into Mount Tabor territory. That's a gain of 10.
Really the first time tonight that we've seen Rottweiler get ahead of steam. One cut, gets upfield in a hurry, picks up the fresh set of downs. But really impressed by the blocking on some of these runs by this East Forsyth offensive line tonight against a very physical Spartans defense.
Think back to 2019. East Forsyth won a title with Jalen Rayner, the Arkansas State quarterback. It was a pass-heavy offense. Now the running game of Rottweiler opens things up.
Where a lot of the running was done by Jalen Rayner. So now these running backs take pressure off of Bryce Baker in this passing game. It's paid dividends so far.
Baker off the first down, works here on 1st and 10. He elects to throw, goes short. Nice catch, Blair, and out of bounds after a gain of 8. Bryce Baker this year, much better in those short decisions.
And the easy throws that are underneath, he's taking those instead of just going vertical all the time. Understanding that if a drive is methodical and you go down the score, it's still a touchdown. So as long as you're moving the football down the field, and right now they're working the clock as well. A really nice job, an adjustment by Bryce Baker this year to be a little more methodical with the football.
And movement for Murray, so that's 5 yards. 9 penalties for East.
Kind of seemed like since the first quarter, they had left those behind. Now granted, there was a long drive for a touchdown by Mount Tabor that did take a lot of time off the clock here in the second quarter, but they just kind of went away for a little bit, and you can't now allow those to mount up and kill this drive.
Baker held in check. 6 of 8 passing. Here's 2nd and long. Back to Blair. There's a nice hole. Blair breaks one and spins for the first to the 31.
Pretty nice 1-2 punch right now between Blair and Rottweiler. Blair's been squeaking through for some of those big gains so far. This is another example of that. Slides through the crevices of that offensive line.
Back to work with Blair, who scored a touchdown tonight. There's the stiff arm. And Blair gets 2 after the Riddle tractor first down.
6'3", 200 pounds. A big body running the football in the backfield that time as he goes out for a breather.
And now, speaking of breathers, there's a man down for Tabor. That's Naz Blackman. And then also a little bit of cramp in there for Blair, who goes down. Both clubs feeling fatigued tonight.
Humid night as well. At the beginning of October, a little more humid than I think a lot of people would expect this time of year, but certainly still a case where you've got to stay hydrated, stay on top of it.
We noted Snook Peterkin, who had cramps late in the second quarter, have yet to see him back in the rotation yet. And that's a big piece. He's a starting corner and the best receiver in this Central Piedmont, as now Peterkin's back on the field. Number 1 right there.
Shed some gear too. I believe he's not now without a glove, a couple sleeves. I wonder if maybe he felt like he was getting a little overheated there.
A penalty-ridden first half, but back in business now as we near the final 90 seconds. Here's Baker on 2nd and 8. with time. More time. Baker runs. Baker stays in bounds and gets the first. He's into the red zone. But there is a flag as he ends up at the 14.
So maybe in the area of a hole right there in the middle of the field, right when that flag came out as well. Brody Harrington was the man over there on the right side.
Felt more like a tackle than a hold.
Yeah. Look, I'm sure Matthew along the sideline will agree with me. Coaches always tell you, look, if you're going to hold, get your money's worth.
Well, when you're double-figure penalties now, it's starting to add up, at least for Forsyth. But it is nice to have two former college O-linemen with us on this crew.
Gotta get your money's worth.
And the mic just went out for Gary Overton. Okay, so one of the holds accepted, there were two holds on the play. Interesting. Pick your poison.
You got a hold here, a hold there, and results in a big game.
Turns it into a 2nd and 18. And now the clock begins to run.
Now you're these defensive backs, you got to watch down the field right now.
Baker rolls out, throws short. That's Richburg. Nice run. Richburg gets the penalty yardage back. He's short of the sticks, though. Two explosive plays for Richburg tonight.
Those defensive backs for Mount Tabor positioned down the field, so they give a little bit of cushion. Nice play call that time, recognizing that, get it out to Richburg with room to work with. Much more favorable third down now because of it. The defenders a little closer to the line of scrimmage now this time.
East Forsyth 4 for 5 on third down tonight. Baker calling out the blitz. That's an NFL level adjustment for this young 18-year-old. Here's 3rd and 6. Baker finds the blitz, runs away. Baker runs for his life. And he has a first down. Man, this kid's special.
Oh, calls out the blitz, and it still gets through, but recognizing where it's coming from, evades that pressure. Offensive line seals enough to the outside, and there is not enough speed to catch the star quarterback of the East Forsyth Eagles as he runs out of bounds.
Baker with 1,500 yards passing, but his run game tonight's been impactful. Now Baker over 50 yards on the ground after Riddle tractor first.
Picking and choosing where he's running the football, being effective in that sense.
Entering the Cook Reynolds red zone, running the smart way to get things done. Here's first down. Rottweiler cuts outside. Oh, nice tackle by Blair, but he didn't go down. I guess technically never went down. That's a hard kid to bring down, Rottweiler.
Pretty strong for his size, isn't he? Pretty fitting for the last name, too. Just keeps working his way down the field. Blair was right there, and that knee may just never have come down. So good fight by Rottweiler to stay up, but great job rallying to the football for that Mount Tabor defense.
Look at that clock, 25 seconds left. Baker has time, runs forward. Baker slips a tackle and spins inside the 10. Timeout with 15 seconds left. Oh, and Baker got hit hard by Blair.
See a couple of these players a little winded.
And another player down for East on the O-line. Here comes Todd Willard, the head coach. That's Navarre Cooper on the turf.
See even a couple of these players winded. It's been a physical first half here. Long drives as well. There has not been a lot since those first 2 offensive drives for each team. A lot of sustained long drives throughout the course of this game. So it wears on you a little bit more, again, with the humidity beating down as well. I'll tell you what, this player's going to wake up tomorrow morning. They're going to feel They're going to feel a little bit of pain, I can promise you that.
For Tabor, it's 2 games in 5 days.
Yep.
And the winner of this game is in prime position to win the Central Piedmont Conference. They moved to 3-0 in the league.
And it certainly sends a message one way or the other, maybe more so for that sideline of Mount Tabor. Trying to climb over that hump at the 4A level. You saw the success, of course, with the state title a few years back. That was at 3A. You move up and you start getting into the real Jimmies and Joes of North Carolina high school football, the big, big programs. And East Forsyth has placed themselves amongst those ranks. So if you take them down, you send a message to not just the area, but the rest of the state that you have a legitimate team here who's ready to contend for a state title.
Right now, Grimsley, #1 team in the state. Mount Tabor played them week 1. That was a tight first half. East has not had the difficult schedule so far, but it comes up quick. West Forsyth and Mount Tabor the next month.
Not to mention, even in the next 2 weeks, Parkland, a surprise 3-2. And then RJ Reynolds, who has continued to do well, and they're off to a hot start here tonight in their own game in the area.
That injury to Navarre Cooper will bring in Austin Fetterspiel at the guard position. Oh, Cooper, they might need some help. I think they may need some help getting Cooper up as well.
Big man down.
Have a round of applause for number 58, Navarre Cooper.
Cooper, the second-year starter, 5'11", 315 bills. Good news, he's back on his feet.
Schematically speaking now, though, if you're Mount Tabor, you start testing.
Oh, and because of the injury, it's a timeout. So East will have 1 timeout, and with 14 seconds, you get what, 2 plays?
Roughly. The good news is where you are in the field allows you to gamble maybe a little bit more here, and you still have that 1 timeout in your back pocket. The only question is, how aggressive do you get here towards the end of the first half? You have a first down, so it's goal-to-go situation. Barring a penalty, you cannot pick up any more of those first downs. Do you keep your offense out there regardless, or do you like to kick a field goal here and extend this, where Mount Tabor would be in position to only take the lead with a touchdown?
Oh, on that man's shoulders, Bryce Baker has been running for his life on this drive. Now it's 1st and goal for Baker.
See defensively if they test that right side of the offensive line.
Baker play action. End zone shot. What a snag. J.P. Gilchrist, touchdown.
J.P. Gilchrist with the reception.
10th score of the year and a late dagger in the first half.
That is throwing to a spot in the back of the end zone. Gilchrist knows it, gives himself smartly room to work with, positions himself back towards the inside and works his way back to the sideline for the perfectly placed pill in the corner of the end zone. It does not get much better than that from quarterback to wideout.
Oxner and Permar touchdown. We make wrongs right. Huge extra point for Cressamore, and he drills it. So it's an 8-point game. Now Tabor gets the football to start the second, but what a nice drive from East Forsyth.
What a nice drive and a beautiful finish to that one. That is shining bright as a huge play in this football game, and about executed from a player-to-player standpoint as it gets. That was a thing of beauty from Baker to Gilchrist.
14 plays, 73 yards in Baker, but hold on, there's a flag. Oh wow, so 15 yards for Tabor. Let's watch this after the kick. Oh, sorry, the touchdown first.
This thing just throws to a spot. It's a really nice job by Gilchrist. Great throw by Bryce Baker, but maybe a better job by Gilchrist. Understanding it, giving yourself room to work with in the back corner of the end zone, giving your quarterback a chance to make a throw like that. Just up over the top, understanding it, and a beautiful snare out of the air by Gilchrist.
That connection has 10 TDs, and Gilchrist was a former quarterback on the JV team. Now he's one of the best receivers in the state.
And you can see why. the trust and playing the quarterback spot, you understand what is needed from that position as well. Just a really nice job of, again, understanding what your quarterback is looking for, executing, and then finishing the play with a touchdown.
And now with this field position, you effectively eliminate Snook Peterkin on special teams.
How many times have you seen a kickoff from plus territory?
Not many. And if you're Cressamore, you're putting this nowhere near Peterkin. He already returned 2 for touchdowns this year. And there you go, into the end zone. You do have timeouts if you're Tabor, but 9 seconds is not a ton of time.
You just kind of wonder, you don't want to put this ball in harm's way either. Again, this field being littered with athletes with college aspirations and looks at that, some commitments too. You don't want to put that ball in harm's way and give these guys a chance to make a play on a football and potentially return it.
And most of Tabor's bench is heading to the locker room, so I think they're content with heading to halftime. Not sure if Lane Albright got the memo here with 9 seconds left in the shotgun. And that'll do it. A battle for top 10 supremacy in the state, and it's a 1-score game through the first 24 minutes.
Just like I thought, slugfest coming into this one. 2 heavyweights throwing down. East Forsyth executing more there in the second quarter, but Mount Tabor certainly still within shouting distance. Make this one pretty interesting as we go into half number 2.
Nice lead for East Forsyth here early on the road. Club that is 5-0. That man Bryce Baker, a couple of touchdown passes. And a really good start in this 1-score game. Matt Gibson with more on the sideline.
Coach, you all decided to go for it on 4th down, which led to a touchdown right here. What was your thought process behind that?
You got to score. You got to put points up. You know, we know they're going to score, so we just felt when they called the timeout to let's go for it. The whole line said we could do it, so we did it.
I hear you. So, Coach, you have the lead. You got the momentum. What do you all need to do to get this win in the second half?
I need to stop talking to you guys because you guys jinxed me about the dang penalties, and we had a lot this first half.
Good luck in the second half, Coach. Stay tuned for the U.S. Army halftime show.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're excited to present state championship rings to our state champions for the 2024 outdoor track and field season.
Throughout the 2024 Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals season, Tatum and Atkinson Law Firm will recognize an exceptional senior student athlete from each participating school with a plaque presentation prior to each game. This week's Tatum and Atkinson Scholar athletes are from Mount Tabor High School, Matthias Banks. Mount Tabor's Matthias Banks is a 2-year captain on the varsity football team and a 3-year varsity player. After having multiple D1 offers, Matthias is committed to play football at Princeton next year. Matthias is on the AB Honor Roll and is the Western North Carolina Youth Council president. He volunteers at his church every Sunday and is a self-taught guitar and piano player. And from East Forsyth High School, Braden Cressamore. East Forsyth's Braden Cressamore is a letterman in football and soccer and is a 3-time Special Teams Player of the Week. He is the senior class president on the National Honor Society and a Crosby Scholar. Braden gives back to his community by volunteering with Guide Dog Foundation of America and as a youth soccer referee. Matthias, Braden, and other nominated students are also eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season. Congratulations to our Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athletes of the Week. Sponsored by Tatum and Atkinson. Injured in a car wreck? Call the Heavy Hitters.
All right. I'm gonna be like, I've been here since. All right, I've been here since about 4:30 today, and I ran in the principal, Donald White of Mount Tabor High School. One thing I noticed, he wasn't wearing any shoes, and I think it's the coolest thing. I really do. Tell me a little bit more about your thought process behind that.
So I don't wear shoes anytime I'm outside. I really like the way the ground feels, and let's be honest, if you had a field that looked this good, would you wear shoes?
The field is beautiful. I give you that. The field is beautiful. So on a more serious note, last week, Hurricane Helene came through and it wreaked havoc in Western North Carolina. I know that Mount Tabor has some folks that are doing some things to help support the community out there. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure, we're currently running a drive to bring non-perishable goods, water, personal hygiene objects, and we're running once a week up to Western North Carolina. We're starting out in Burke County. Next week we're gonna move to Buncombe and just keep going wherever the need is. So if anybody has donations, please bring them to the main office of Mount Tabor.
That's very beautiful. A little bit goes a long way. This is your second year here at Mount Tabor. Tell me, what are you most excited about in this year?
So with this being my second year, I'm most excited to pick up right where we left last year. The students know who I am. They know what I stand for. They know that we want to build this community and just keep things rolling.
Always good talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Got you. Oh. All right. Stay tuned for more of your USA halftime report. USA Army halftime report. USA Army halftime report.
Well, let's hear from the Mount Tabor varsity dance team.
Welcome back to the U.S. Army Halftime Report. I'm here with Principal Rusty Hall of East Forsyth High School. Principal Hall, how has the football season been for you this year?
It's been fun. You know, it's really brought a sense of school pride to us. It's always fun. I was talking to Principal White, and it's good for both of us to have a game like this. It's kind of back and forth. So it's an exciting game with two strong schools in our conference.
For sure, y'all have good camaraderie, and it's cool to see on the sideline between you two. How do you engage your school community and the community at large to support this team?
Well, you know, what's amazing is the more support we get it in during the school day and in the afternoon. So, you know, being in Kernersville, we still got a small town feel, and so it's truly that Friday Night Lights feeling, and we get tremendous support, great partners, and great support for our athletes.
How do you utilize the success of the football team to help promote the academic goals that the school has?
So I have a high bar for my student athletes. I expect them to be leaders in the school. So the guys you see out here doing amazing things on the field, they do amazing things as leaders in the school, and kids follow them. And so if they can set a good example, then it benefits the whole school.
Love to hear it. Love to speak with you. Thank you for your time, Principal Hall. Yes, sir. We appreciate you. Now, folks, earlier this week, we spoke with Marcus Brown of the U.S. Army.
My educational journey in the Army has been fantastic. So receiving my undergraduate degree as well as my master's. My MOS is similar to UPS. If it fits, it ships. I'm a logistician by trade. As a reservist, the Army will set you apart. You can learn skills and get certifications through the Army that you can use in your everyday occupation. So the healthcare perks are amazing. Absolutely no co-pays, so that's no money out of your pocket.
Welcome back here to our Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. This week starts the Carolina Classic Fair, so we're going to kick things off with some fantastic food. Now, Mark, you ready to enjoy this bad boy? It's the buffalo chicken pizza cake. And there's so much to talk about in the fair. Look at my friend. Here we go.
Oh my God. Oh, he's gonna try it.
It's so exciting that everybody wants to eat something. I'll get you that in a second. We got plenty of food to eat here. I got my fair finger here. Next up, we have our best pickle, our blue raspberry pickle. It's a cool pickle, actually. Our best pickle. Yes. Matt, go ahead, my friend.
Man, we have a buffalo pizza cake. I want y'all to look at this.
Oh, look at this.
Zoom in a little bit. Look at that. Look at that. That's
I have to fight you for this bad boy.
Give me the pickle. Two of my favorite things all in one. Buffalo chicken and cake. I love it. It's really good. 10 out of 10.
The pickles.
Go to the fair.
When are we going to the fair, guys? Because this stuff's fantastic.
It's good.
What time does the fair close? I think I might go after
Tonight, we got all week till next week. Write it up.
Might have to make a stop. We're not far
And
away.
now, my favorite right here. This is the magic that stirs the drink. It is
we got the magic, yo.
It's a cotton candy cinnamon roll. I mean, all the names thrown together. So, bon appetit, my friends.
Shove it in, man.
Oh, man.
There you go. Oh, you eat the paper?
I ate the paper, too.
Paper. Squeeze the.
Got to eat it all.
Who does?
Go to town, my friend. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I get the pizza roll. Will you worry about that? How's the cotton candy? Pretty good?
It's not bad.
Of course, we also have the cool pickle. The cool pickle.
The cool lickle.
This is how you guys got to do it. You know, when I go to a game, I want a good football game and some good food.
This is good. No,
I got the cotton candy.
Off the name of it, I was not thinking it was going to be good.
The pickle?
Yeah, but it is actually really tasty.
It is.
It's a shocker right here. Shocker.
Well, it's hard.
Are you done with the pizza, by the way?
I'm going to eat all of it.
I'm still hungry.
I know you are.
For the buffalo chicken pizza roll.
We're dripping. Look at that. We got drip, man.
Now, the cotton candy's solid, too, so don't be fooled, folks.
This was the surprise I didn't know I needed.
This is where the magic happens right here.
All right.
As a reminder, go to the Carolina Classic Fair, the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. Till next weekend, you can enjoy it, because I'm going to steal this from Mark. Thanks, buddy.
Delicious.
Thank you guys for the treats. We'll make sure our crew eats later, too. Enjoy a great weekend of fair food, because we're going to enjoy some here.
The pickle
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this medical game plan.
The most important thing to remember is that North Carolinians now in between the ages of 19 and 64 can be covered. We want to make sure that as you are looking at Medicaid and considering whether or not to apply, that you understand not to count yourself out. Everyone should apply, even if you're not sure if you're eligible. More people can qualify under Medicaid under the new rules. And if you are a working adult and you are a person who works in child care, retail stores, restaurants, or other essential industries, the best way to know that if you qualify is just to apply. Visit medicaid.nc.gov to learn more. Even if you got turned down in the past, there are newly eligible people who are able to apply. Again, if you're in between the ages of 19 and 64, you are a U.S. citizen, have an eligibility immigration status that qualifies, and if you have a household income under a specific amount, these are all things that we can use to help with your qualification. Also, adults can now qualify whether or not they have children or a disability. We do look at the size of your family household and to help with determining what that income limit is. For instance, we want to make sure that we're looking at whether or not you're a single adult. If you have an income and you're able to have in between $1,732 per month or less, or if you're a family of four and you have $3,588 per month or less, we want to make sure we look at all of that. So if you have no income, we also want to make sure we look at that qualification because you too may also qualify.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this medical game plan.
I'm here with Lily of the Carolina Classic Fair, which started today and goes through next Sunday. Lily, what are some good foods that the people at home should know about this year?
We've got a lot of great stuff. On the midway, we've got the dilly dog, which is a corn dog or a pickle and a corn dog deep fried. It's really good. We've got a buffalo chicken pizza cone. We've got Coolicles. We've got mini Nutella pancakes, deep fried banana pudding. If you can eat it and you can fry it, we've got it at the fair.
Sounds good. I need to go after this. So in terms of entertainment, what do you all have this year?
So we are bringing in monster trucks on October 7th that evening. That is brand new to the fair this year. That is all in the Deer Park Springwater Grandstand. And then we've got Dylan Scott for 93.1 The Wolf Night on Tuesday. And for WBFJ Night on Wednesday, we've got Colton Dixon. And all of those concerts and shows are free with your fair admission ticket.
Love to hear it. My last question is this. Why is it important to support high school football?
It's really important to us, especially being here at Tabor. We're not that far from the fair. It was probably less than a 10-minute drive, so it's really great to see our community members and our kids that are growing up coming to the fair and support them in all that they do.
Lily, thank you for your time, and thank you for all your support of high school football and everything in between. You're amazing.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a pretzel stacking competition about to go on here. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening. All right, who we got here?
Folks, we had a couple of items left behind at the main gate. John Johnson, Juan Johnson, and Anaya Dollar.
All right.
The main gate.
We got ourselves a winner chicken dinner over here. Show the folks at home your prize.
Let's go!
All right, back to you, Evan.
Oh, we got numbers too. Oh, jeez. Oh, man, put the digits out there for the folks at home here in Tabor, in the heart of Winston-Salem. How about some numbers from this first half? Because, Mark, penalties are probably the biggest number, yet Bryce Baker, ton of credit. This offense clicking for East Forsyth.
Well, penalties don't really matter a whole lot when you're able to put the ball in the box, and that's exactly what East Forsyth was able to do. 3 drives in the first half, resulting in touchdowns, including right there at the end of the half. Those penalties at some point are going to become a bigger issue. This offense, this team of East Forsyth has to find a way to fix those mistakes penalty-wise. Otherwise, there's not going to be a whole lot that stops them going forward into the season.
nearly double the yards of Tabor in the first half. How about some highlights from the first 24 minutes? Slow drives early, and then Blair breaks it loose.
Absolutely. You see right there the aggressive nature of Mount Tabor defensively. Everyone up around the line of scrimmage, no safety valve to stop the long run there, but not to be outdone. Lane Albright and that Mount Tabor offense get back to work, and of course, it's Snook Peterkin for 6.
That was a 40-yard pitch and catch, and then Snook does the rest.
Seems like he glides across the turf when he has that football in his hands, doesn't he?
And then the special playmaking to Bryce Baker.
One of those 2 touchdown passes in the first half, just reads the defense, pulls them down towards the line of scrimmage, makes a great read. Richburg benefits on the back end.
No shoe, no problem here. A touchdown for Naz Blackman.
Good power running football and good response at this point. Kind of felt like the first half was pretty even. Both offenses going back and forth, but at the end of the first half, just a great pass from Bryce Baker. Is wide on the outside, Gilchrist for the touchdown.
We'll take the timeout, get thoughts from Coach Tyshawn Brown when we come back. 1 touchdown game here at Mount Tabor.
Coach Brown, your team is fighting tough in the first half. What are you telling your team at halftime to turn around and clean up some of those mistakes in the first?
Hey, it's the day one things, man. It's the small things that make big things happen. We just making mistakes on the day one things, just small things.
Yes, sir. What was your message to your team coming out of halftime?
We're a second half team. We do a finish drill every day. It's about finishing this half and finishing this football game.
Yes, sir. Good luck in the second half. Back to you, Evan.
Second half team and a game now that comes down to a touchdown at the break mark.
Certainly going to need to come back here in the second half, but only 1 score. For everything that we talked about that East Forsyth did right in the first half, still only a 1-score ball game and an offense in Mount Tabor that did play its style of football in the first half. Ball control, be methodical, be physical up front. They're certainly going to have an opportunity here also to open up the second half to make their claim on what they did in the first half. Can they finish? Can they put these drives together? And can their defense get a stop? Haven't seen that since the first quarter against this East Forsyth offense so far.
And it'll be Mount Tabor football to start the second half. A club that was leading by 2 touchdowns when these teams met last year. A little flip of the script, especially tonight. We know what East has been. Reached the 3rd round or later in the last 4 years. Mount Tabor, though, kind of new to this party, and this is a statement second half for Tabor.
It sure is. They've got to come the way. If you want to make your claim that you are on the same level as this East Forsyth team and put yourself in the upper echelon of what those great teams are in the state of North Carolina at the 4A level, this is your time to do it. Down 8 at home, you've got a chance to make a name for this program at that 4A spot.
Winner of this game in great position to win the Central Piedmont Conference. Maybe West Forsyth has some words, but Tabor's already beaten West, and East will play West in the final game of the year. Busy first half for Cressamore. More importantly, he's made his extra points, so it's an 8-point difference at the break. And now Snook Peterkin ready to receive. That ball goes in the far opposite direction of Snook and into the end zone.
Low drive straight into the end zone. Of course, as soon as it hits the end zone, touchback in the state of North Carolina. Man, what a opportunity for this Mount Tabor offense to start the second half.
Lane Albright has the same number of completions as Snook Peterkin. He was 1 for 3 in the first.
Think about that, how many times he dropped back and he did not pull the trigger to get that football down the field, but made good decisions, made good runs, made good plays.
First play of the second half, it's Peterkin on the ground. Snook thought about the pass and he's down. A TFL for Nathan Stewart.
You see Snook look down at his gloves there. It seemed like he bobbled the football. He wanted to put it in the air, but just lost grip of that football. You wonder if maybe it was a little slick. See right here, he cocks it back, and right there, he has to eat it because it slips out of his hands. He just has to hold on to it.
Yeah, tough hands for Peterkin. Otherwise, he had an open receiver. Now it's 2nd and 20. Day 1 plays. Coach Brown noted at halftime. Albright feeds Snook. Gets a block. Not much room there. Nice tackle, Zion Pleasant. And what a nice job East has done to contain Peterkin.
For the most part, outside of the one long touchdown catch and the one completion in the first half for Albright, they've contained it for the most part. So here just gets outside, follows his blockers, but it's a great one-on-one tackle along the edge. You can't ask for much more.
That's a first-year starter, Zion Pleasant. This is a brand new secondary. All 4 starters are brand new.
And given the task that they've been up against tonight, they've done a really good job of holding on as much as possible to these wide receivers and these deep threats. Mount Tabor.
Now 3rd and 17, a lot of traffic moving with 3 on the clock. Whoa, and Tabor has to burn a timeout. Maybe just me, I almost wonder, do you need the timeout there? You're at 3rd and 17.
Well, unless you feel good about the play call you had and the look that you were getting from that defense. There's not a whole lot in the playbook that you run on 3rd and 17 that you feel overly great about. But if you are East Forsyth, you have to make sure you are locating Peterkin. You have to make sure that you're locating Blair as well. They have to be on your radar here on 3rd and long because they are going to be the top 2 targets that you got to think that Albright's going to be looking for in a passing situation.
Tabor is 3 for 4 on 3rd down tonight, but this is their toughest. Offensive coordinator Gunnar Klontz, who was running back coach at Elizabeth City State, he's brought a different dimension to this offense, more ground and pound with play action.
Seems to fit this roster pretty well too. They love that approach. Suited them well so far, but not on 3rd and 17.
Albright out of the pocket, a little misdirection. Oh, nice hold, Thompson. Needs a few more. And Thompson had to get to the 30. He's a couple yards short.
Now what do you do?
And I think the offense is staying out.
Set a tone. How about that little misdirection handoff? Love that. Getting Albright to get that defense to flow to the right side, then sneakily hand it off to Thompson, who goes out the back door.
Wow, this could be the play of the game here to start the 3rd quarter. Offense stays on the field. Tabor needs 3. And maybe need movement instead.
Kind of gives you a look at what that defense is going to do. See how many bodies are going to be coming downhill potentially here.
Here is 4th and 3. Oh, a whistle. Did East jump offside? No, it's a false start. Wow, and that takes the decision out of the coaching staff here. You got to punt this, right?
Sure do. And I just wonder if Pouncey being where he's at all night and timing that snap count and trying to get off the football. Watch on the right side here. Yeah, that's a false start because he senses Pouncey coming off the edge. That's great, great tactician work by Pouncey along the edge of that defense. That is the mental side of the game. Get into their head and let them think that you're coming off the edge so fast that you've got to move quicker.
There's James Price for his second punt. A short kick. Murray watches it bounce the wrong way, and great field position for East. Now at the 49-yard line. We'll take the timeout. It's a good stop for East Forsyth. Bryce Baker and company back to work up a touchdown in this CPC showdown. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health. Hands-on, compassionate care around the clock. Good defensive stop for East Forsyth, who have double the yardage of Mount Tabor, but still a one-score game early in the third.
Just talks to what Mount Tabor's done. The yardage hasn't been there because they haven't had that many drives. They have one less drive, I believe, than what East had in the first half, but those long, methodical drives wore down.
Here's Baker on first down with some time. Throws short. Nice catch for Richburg. Sorry, J.P. Gilchrist. And he's right near the sticks.
Bryce Baker comes back to the left side of that formation. Kendall Sawyer was running naked down the middle of the field. There was not a defender within 20 yards of him. It would have been an easy 6.
Back to Murray, who cuts it upfield. Nice hole, and he'll push the pile for at least 5 yards. And he gets the first down. It's a Crescent Ford first down. Crescent Ford, a High Point serving the triad since 1970.
But to that point, another great job, again, up front. Giving protection on first down. Great job on second down, giving a rushing lane and able to move those sticks again. Balanced attack tonight for East Forsyth.
East Forsyth, 10 yards of carry tonight as Baker rolls out, throws short. There's Richburg. And all of a sudden, this O's coordinator pushing the field horizontally, testing the defense.
They sure are. See how they can move from sideline to sideline. Saw that play at the end of the first half as well. Out there to Richburg, right on the edge, roll out. Easy throw and catch to the outside. You pick up easy yards that way, sets you up with second and short, and expands that playbook a little bit more.
Now Baker changing the play on second down. Feeds the tailback. Nice hole for Rottweiler, and that's a first down. How about the next level mindset here at Baker, turning from a pass to a run and moving the chains?
Yeah, just good strategy there. Easy calling a game now in rhythm. It seems like the offense, again, after that first drive, they found something that they have liked rhythm-wise. They've been able to have their way with this very stingy Mount Tabor defense.
This is what we saw from Jalen Milroe last week in a Heisman moment. 2 touchdowns, 400 yards against Georgia in a top 10 win. Baker now goes to work on first down. He wants a big moment. Baker rolls out, gets a stiff arm, and much like Jalen Milroe, a huge threat with his feet inside the 10 and another first down.
Pretty incredible. Tightrope act along the sideline, no less, while breaking a tackle that gets up for more yards. just seems so easy. The game is coming to him. He's allowing that to take place. And then making plays when he's got his number called on the ground tonight. It's been very spotty the way he's run, but it's been very good and very efficient.
We have another penalty before the snap. A defensive penalty.
Tabor already down those 8 points. Defense has to find a way to get off the field here. A daunting task, but they've got to find a way to stiffen up here. Not allow East Forsyth to get into the box, otherwise you put yourself in a situation where that defense for the Eagles can start pinning their ears back once that Mount Tabor offense is back out on the field.
Here's 1st and goal for Baker. Bryce feeds Blair. Sneaks past one, touchdown, East Forsyth. Second score for Corey Blair, facing his cousin tonight, and a 2-score debut.
Nice and easy right up the middle, just an effective run. Again, good push up front in the middle of that defense, something that Mount Tabor is not used to seeing. The Spartans are usually so stout there, but tonight, this offensive line has had their way. They have moved that line of scrimmage backwards and put the onus on this defense.
Another player down for Mount Tabor after the touchdown. Six plays, 48 yards, and a 3-yard score to finish it off.
So many players across this entire offense. You can't really key in on any one guy. And that really includes Bryce Baker. You think about what that does for him, it allows him to see the field as well. Pressure has not been there this year on Bryce Baker as a quarterback that we have seen the last several years with East Forsyth. And again, that ground game has had a lot to do with it. They've done a great job of balancing everything out tonight, keeping the defense honest, not allowing them to drop back and wait for Bryce Baker to attack through the air.
The ground game has been impressive tonight, too. Over 150 yards rushing for East. You know, I'm surprised the home student section's going bonkers, but I guess tradition's tradition.
It felt pretty well planned that they were going to do this.
And Prestonmore makes the extra point.
Got to use it at some point, right?
We'll take the timeout. East Forsyth pulling ahead here, up 2 scores on our F&R game of the week, presented by My 48. Tonight's game is also being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook page, brought to you by Novant Health. Best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care, and some fun in the Mount Tabor student section tonight. It's a pink out, and the smoke bombs have gone off after a touchdown. The bad news for Mount Tabor, their team's down 2 scores, so some work to do. 3 straight scoring drives for East. That time the ground game making things happen for Bryce Baker's club. 172 yards rushing.
Just efficient. It hasn't been the super explosive plays here tonight that have put East Forsyth in this position, allowed them to score points. It's been a more methodical approach, driving down the field, sustaining long drives, getting the ball in the end zone to finish off.
Cressamore sends one into the end zone, so another touchback. His leg's been important tonight. Where's the solution here for Mount Tabor as you start this drive?
It just seems like here to begin this second half, the game got away from them, and really almost at the end of the first quarter, or excuse me, first half, the game started to get away from them a little bit more. That physical brand of football they want to play, where they were keeping this game in their control because they were dominating at the line of scrimmage, because they were moving the football the way they wanted to on the ground, because this offensive and defensive lines were doing a great job of either penetrating or moving the line of scrimmage back to block. It just seems kind of lost right now, and they've got to have a drive here that finds points, gets into the end zone.
Only 3 completions for Mount Tabor tonight. Very heavy on the ground. Now from the 20, a first down. Thompson again. Sneaks out a 1. Nice run. Thompson sideline jukes. Stays on his feet. Thompson slips in East Forsyth territory.
Just running and rumbling the whole way down the field. It was a nifty move by Thompson at the line of scrimmage, hid behind some of his blockers, and then makes a move to the outside. Watch him come back in and set those blocks up, get outside. And from there, it's the power, the low leverage of Zion Thompson, and just could not keep his feet.
Now that's a State Fair kind of run.
How about that? Look at that.
You bang into some concessions, you sneak through the rides, and then you slip somewhere out there.
Yeah, somewhere. Just lost that balance. Eventually you see he's upset with himself, knowing he had more gas in the tank on that run.
And there was a personal foul after the play on Caden Martin, the cornerback for East. He knocked in a Jadon Blair, pardon me.
I guess it happened during the play.
So now you get basically a 40-yard play out of one play.
But that's exactly what Mount Tabor needed offensively. Get this game back in your favor. Have something, get a spark.
Now from the 44, Albright feeds Shell. Thompson sneaks out. It's a nice run. 11 yards and a first down.
There you go. That time it's the grittiness of Zion Thompson running with that low center of gravity there. You see he's saying, run it back, let's go. But they want to take him out. Look at this, just straight up the gut, and that's power, breaking 3 tackles to get in deeper into Eagles territory.
Officially ruled 1 yard short, so that's my apology there. It's 2nd and inches. Albright searching for movement. Now a quick snap. Here's Shell. Nice run. Shell with blockers. Touchdown, Mount Tabor. 3 plays, explosive response from the Spartans.
All on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. That is grown man football. A huge run on the first play of the series.
But if it's
great job blocking up front, getting down the field, and what a convoy on that touchdown run.
Great run for Kamari Shell, his 2nd touchdown. Oxner and Permar will make wrongs right. And that time it's through Matt Gibson with more.
All right, so that's a great way for them to come back after a deflating last drive. You saw some of the guys with their heads hanging down. The coaches said, keep your head up. We are a second half team, and that touchdown just proved it right there.
80 yards in the blink of an eye.
Just look right there, the cut, and then following. Look at the convoy in front of him. Blackman out in front. I'm telling you, when Shell has the football in his hands, something different takes place because he's an explosive runner. You got to think, if you are this coaching staff at Mount Tabor, you got to start considering getting him the football more often.
Coming up in the 4th quarter, stay tuned to find out who's tonight's Carolina Classic Fair Player of the Game. The Carolina Classic Fair, 10 days of awesome. And coming up in the 4th, we'll highlight tonight's My 48 Play of the Game, My 48, your home for local sports, and our Carolina Classic Fair Player of the Game, all coming up in the 4th quarter. And maybe Kamari Shell cracked a pretty loaded list of great plays.
I'm telling you, we've had it all here tonight. Long touchdown passes, runs. goodness. Spectacular plays left and right from both sides. And just like when it seemed that East Forsyth was going to start putting their stamp on this football game and pull away, leave it to Mount Tabor. Three plays, all on the ground, all explosive. Get right back into this football game.
And the band has not stopped playing since halftime.
They're going.
A lot of energy here at Bob Sapp Field in Winston-Salem. Returnable for East. Gilchrist weaving and a hard hit. Nowhere to go to the 29-yard line. How does Bryce Baker and crew continue? 3 straight scoring drives.
Just continue to do what you've done. Right now, until the defense of Mount Tabor proves that they can stop what you've been doing, work that football on the ground, put the football into the hands of your dynamic quarterback in Bryce Baker, allow him to make the sound decisions that have put you at a 5-0 record and ahead in this football game so far.
294 total yards, including 2 touchdowns for Baker. And now has 56 career passing touchdowns. On first down, feeds Murray. Murray into a wall of defenders, gets a couple. And now one of the defenders is down. That's John Coles. It looks like he's getting back up. This Mount Tabor team, it has 6 different players both ways. It's starting to play a factor here in the third.
And because they have so many guys that are so versatile, they feel like they can do that. It wears down, though. Over time, you've got to be smart about that wear and tear.
Can Baker exploit that defense? Rolls out on second. Baker, the pump fake. Hit as he throws and finds an incompletion. Oh, into the breadbasket of Blair.
Corey Blair has done so much good tonight. 2 touchdowns, an explosive one for the first score of this football game, but this time he just gives this one away. You cannot ask for a much better pass, fading to his left.
He hit the hands of Blair.
I mean, it was right there. Pressure bearing down. Baker puts it right where it needs to be. And Corey Blair just drops a gimme down the field.
Now 3rd and 8. That was Blair's first catch of the season last week. This week, wanted his second. That would have been a huge play.
Really surprised for a defensive backfield that is as good as the one that Mount Tabor fields. East Forsyth has not been afraid to push that football down the field.
Play clock to 1, timeout, East Forsyth. And Todd Willard had to come sprinting down.
And there's some confusion between those offensive skill players trying to get lined up the right way, where to go.
You can tell both teams trying to get on the same page right now. So if you're East Forsyth, you get this win tonight, you maintain not only a top 5 spot, but in the western side of the state, it's Grimsley, Weddington, and who becomes that 3 seed, whoever wins this game.
Whoever wins this game is exactly right. Whoever comes out of here as the victor tonight is going to be the team that everyone in the area, everyone on this side of the state, and everyone on the other side of the state, honestly, starts looking at and saying, hey, that's a perennial contender. That's a team that is going to be hard to bring down in the state playoffs going forward.
Not to mention Mallard Creek as well up there up top, the Charlotte area.
What you said, the hardest strength of schedule so far?
Yeah, the average strength of schedule is better than any team in the state. Mount Tabor has a top 10 schedule in the state. They've played Grimsley. Of course, they play East Forsyth tonight. And also a tough matchup with West Forsyth.
Still a lot left on the plate, really, for both of these teams. Starts here tonight. Still so much game left in this one. Only 1 score possession.
3rd down. Baker runs it, gets a block. There's a first. Baker into Tabor territory. Great run on 3rd down.
Designed quarterback draw that time works to perfection. Blocking does a great job of holding up front long enough for Baker and his lead blocker that time, and Rottweiler get upfield, sets Rottweiler up, and then gets downfield, and from there it's all skill in the open field for Bryce Baker.
The elusiveness of Baker impressive. He hands to Murray. Jalen gets 5 and is stopped right there. How has the running game played a factor tonight for East?
They've just brought balance to everything that East Forsyth has done. They've given the defense something else that they have to watch out for. It's not simply pinning your ears back and going after the quarterback like it had been in years past. Now you have to watch these running backs because they are very capable of making plays.
Back on the ground to Murray. There's a juke. And Murray spins for a first. Think at the NFL level, the last 10 years, 9 of the top Super Bowl champs have been in the top 5 in rushing in the NFL. Adding this running game to East makes them a state title contender.
It's been the sneaky way that running the football has stayed prominent in the game of football. Everyone likes to think that it's the pretty passes, but that's not the case.
Here's the running game again, and Rottweiler gets the first down yardage.
When you run the football, you have success. That has never changed. The late flag comes out well after the play as well. I don't know what that was.
Looks like it's on the defense.
But running the football has always been a recipe for success. It doesn't matter how many passing yards are how many of the quarterbacks now just make those immaculate throws down the field. As great as they are, if you want that balance, it means you have to be able to run and pass with efficiency. And it still remains true to this day.
And in the college game, passing touchdowns are down by over 50% in the first month.
Even in the NFL, they're down.
And one of the old linemen with some old roughness, Xavier Crawford, after the play. That's a 20-game starter. Now, those are the plays you can control.
Yes.
After the play, roughness just not needed.
It's the mental part of the game that East Forsyth is just lacking behind. Keep your composure. Look, you're up by 1 score. You're driving down the field. You're dominating this defense for all intents and purposes. Be smart. Don't hurt yourself here by moving the football back just because you're trying to be over-aggressive. So right there towards Amelia's screen, number 60.
So he's talking.
Oh, he must have
said something. See, that to me is not state championship football.
No, it's not. And that's going to be the thing that right now, if you're East, that's going to be the thing that Todd Willard, his coaching staff, go back and look at and say, this is what will prevent us from a state championship.
So now it's 2nd and 18. Baker with pump fakes. There's some pressure, and he's down. Great pursuit by John Coles.
It's not a penalty, but you now allow that to build because you have mental lapses in protection. Now you're 3rd and a mile because you have the penalty on the last play, and now you give up a sack in protection right in the heart of that offensive line, no less.
And it puts you way out of field goal range. 2nd sack for Coles tonight. Baker and his elite arm talent, the UNC commit, but these penalties are making it real hard. 10 penalties for East.
You wonder how conservative they get here. Maybe something in a short passing range.
There's 3rd and 28. Screen. Murray has it. Needs a lot more. And he gets to the 40. Had to get to the 32. So some options on 4th down. Looks like special teams coming out.
Seems like that'll be the punting unit. Capitalizing on what your opponent is doing to shoot themselves in the foot. Mount Tabor, you take the penalty, compound it with a sack, put them in a position where they've got a mile to go to pick up the 1st down, bring them up short. Great job managing the situation and taking advantage.
So JP Gilchrist into punt. He's run 4 fakes this year. This time he boots it away. And Peterkin lets it fly. And that ball dies inside the 10. Stay tuned in the 4th quarter. We'll have our Linder Turf and Tractor scoring summary. You can score a great deal in your next Kubota at Linder Turf and Tractor. I cut my grass this morning. I need to get a Linder Turf and Tractor contract here soon. But got the lawnmower out there, went to work in my hometown, kept it clean.
You talk about it every single week. You're going to do it one of these weeks.
It's on my bucket list. That and some of that, our favorite cotton candy that we had.
I wonder about your bucket.
The cinnamon roll cotton candy.
Look, I'm a man who'll take
pride in mowing some very nice looking grass, but I can't say it's on my bucket list.
Once you get married, my friend, it'll all change.
It changes.
With Matt Gibson and Mark Covert, I'm Evan Budrovich. A top 10 matchup in North Carolina, and it's lived up to it. Here's Lane Albright back to work to end this third quarter. Peterkin turns something out of nothing. Peterkin breaks loose, and he gets out to the 30. Nice gain. 22.
It's like a gazelle running down the field, glides across the turf so easily, those long strides. It's right there cutting up field and then breaking a tackle. Special player to watch. Virginia Tech and Blacksburg are going to absolutely love Snook Peterkin.
It's a Vautech offense that battled Miami to the closing seconds with Cam Ward last week.
Some people in the booth might say that was a win.
Final minute. Thompson wiggles. Oh, there goes Thompson. He's got a foot race. Thompson pushed out near the 30. 2 plays and 70 yards.
And in the last 3 runs that Thompson has had, they have gone for no less than 9 yards. The second shortest being 40, and this is another massive chunk into East Forsyth territory. This offensive line now has answered the call. They are moving bodies and opening holes for these running backs.
That was a Crescent Ford first down, and here's the running game again. It's Shell, the explosive tailback, who gets 5 yards on first down.
It's even right there, just kind of shaking in the middle of the field, boogieing through that offensive front and getting down after a nice gain down the field.
This combo of Thompson and Shell breaking big runs in the third quarter, Mark.
Just impressive. Impressive to see what they do. Now the question is, you got to carry that over. A little bit of a break here. Can you bring that over into the fourth quarter? We're going out down to the wire here, partner.
Running game. Thompson's got 135 on the ground. East started strong. Tabor fighting back. 8-point game here in Winston-Salem. We return. Welcome to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's our Carolina Classic Fair game of the week. Top 10 teams in the state, East Forsyth and Mount Tabor, as the Spartans threaten to begin the fourth. Lane Albright and crew feed Zion Thompson. Thompson gains 3 more. He's now over 135 yards rushing, and that's flipped the script here in the fourth quarter.
The lead has not changed. The deficit is still the same, but this game, from the beginning of the third quarter to the end, feels drastically different. Momentum was going to that East Forsyth sideline. They come out, they score a touchdown, And all of a sudden you're thinking, oh gosh, it's a 2-touchdown lead, but Mount Tabor fighting back, clawing back, changing the tone at the end of the third.
240 yards rushing for Mount Tabor as they enter the Cook Reynolds red zone. Cook Reynolds running the smart way to get things done. Lane Albright, the Davidson commit, leads this Mount Tabor offense. He feeds Thompson. Breaks a tackle. Oh, Thompson diving forward, and he has the first. What a third down run.
Pretty good running back, isn't he? Low to the ground, uses his leverage very well, and keeps those legs moving. Just a hard-nosed runner at the point of attack and does not go down on first contact. Zion Thompson is a man running the football.
Coach Tyshawn Brown said this week, Zion Thompson runs like his mom's life depends on it. And we're seeing some big runs in the fourth quarter.
Mama's proud, I can tell you that much, especially tonight.
Mama didn't raise no fools. They enter the Cook Reynolds red zone. Shell is tackled. Nice pursuit. Kamar Pouncey. He has read that snap so well.
He sure has. He's gotten a great jump all night long. It's resulted in an offsides penalty once so far here tonight, but so far he has timed that up almost to perfection. Great anticipation. You got to be careful there, and you walk a tight line when you're trying to anticipate the snap. But he's done a good job of holding his water and not jumping off sides except for the one time.
Kamar Pouncey, multiple FCS offers. He's the anchor of this D-line. Now it's 2nd and 11. Shell in at running back, gets the rock. Shell escapes. Shell scores! Touchdown! 2 scores for Kamari Shell and a chance to tie it on a 2-point play.
Change the line of scrimmage, get your big bodies in the way and clear out space for these running backs. Mount Tabor's formula is simple. We're gonna out-muscle you, we're gonna out-man you, we're gonna out-tough you. Right there across the board. Great job up front by the offensive line. Opens up a hole, and Shell has a nose for the end zone. 2 touchdowns tonight.
Here's the offense going for 2. It's a direct snap. Mount Tabor scores! Oh, the creativity. The direct snap finds the scoring man, Jalen Springs.
A 15-point lead is gone, wiped out, eviscerated by this offense of Mount Tabor, and now a response from the defense. Can they get it?
What a smart play here. The long snapper goes left. The old rugby play.
All the attention, Snook Peterkin and Jadon Blair in the middle of the field with the motion. The defense is watching them.
Jesse Wallace with the great snap. And now it's a brand new game.
That's all about execution. That play right there is all about execution. The snap has to be perfect. The eye candy has to be perfect. The defense follows. Great snap, great execution, and again, the push up front by those offensive linemen pays in again.
Wallace having the day of his life right there. Mount Tabor running the ball for 261 yards.
We talk about running and passing and how it's applied to the game of football now. Running's still pivotal. Tyshawn Brown told us this week the team that runs for 400 yards is going to win more often than the team that passes for 400. They have changed this game, flipped it on its head, and we are tied.
Here's the kickoff from Blackwell. Gilchrist from his 5. Cuts it in middle. Gilchrist spun down inside the 30. That's where Bryce Baker will go back to work. Stalled due to penalties on the last drive for East.
They cannot rear their ugly head. If you're East Forsyth, you've got to put a drive together here and keep your composure. They've moved the ball against this defense all night long outside of that first drive of the game. Now the penalties have to stay out of this drive if they want to come back and take the lead yet again.
Double-digit penalties for East Forsyth. Here's Baker on first down. Well, the penalties resume. Blair movement. Oh, hold on, is this on the defense? Okay, no, it is on the offense, just like we thought. It was interesting, East was moving forward, but it was on East.
Wonder maybe someone flinched up front and maybe it came across, but man. But look now, 1st and 15. You're setting yourself back behind the chains again.
Officially 12 penalties for East, 100 yards of penalties. Baker on 1st and long, feeds Blair. He gets the penalty yardage back. And then Blair keeps fighting. Blair turning. Blair is right near the sticks. What a run.
Oh, we're turning this into a game of will. They're throwing it all on these offensive lines right now, and they are saying, we're going to put this game on your back. Corey Blair not going down on first contact, continues to back up and gain yards, and then the push from his big guys up front at the end.
Corey versus his cousin, Jadon. What a battle. 2nd and 1. Here's Rottweiler, who slips. And I think he has the first. They give it to him. 1st down conversion.
Fortunate to not go down in the backfield that time. Rottweiler, good center of balance there, puts his hand on the turf to stay upright and pick up a fresh set of downs.
That's a Riddle tractor 1st down, making tall grass short. What a start to this 4th quarter. Mount Tabor scores to tie it. Now it's Baker's turn. Baker all by himself. Has time. Baker rolling. And he's hit. A sack. A combo pressure, but it all starts with Blackman.
Went down that time again. Another hit on Bryce Baker. This defense pushed back all night long, getting the ball moved on them, but their relentlessness, the pursuit has not stopped. They have been.
And the internal clock of Baker is speeding up.
It is. It has to speed up here tonight. It has to get away. If you can't find someone down the field, get that football out of bounds.
Baker 14 of 17, but forced to run a ton tonight. Here he's moving again. Baker rolls out. Had a man, couldn't find him, and sacked. Trey Taylor, his first of the night.
Another look that time down the field. Kendall Sawyer was wide open again, had him a couple drives ago, straight down the middle of the field. That's where Bryce Baker was looking. A little bit of help over the top may have deterred him long enough to pull that football back down and take that sack yet again.
7 sacks for this Mount Tabor defense. Look at this place coming to life. East has to get to midfield. Baker, more pressure, more pressure. Baker directing out of bounds, and that forces a punt. This defensive line's winning the football game for Tabor.
3 plays, 3 sacks. That is all effort up front by Mount Tabor defensively. It's got to have at moments like this where you need your defensive line to come alive. The heart of this defense wakes up, and more pressure again. Bryce Baker has nowhere to go with that football.
Uh-oh, and a man down. That's Jadon Blair. I don't know if exhaustion or anything, but he's slow to get up. And if you're Todd Willard right now, a 2-touchdown lead is disintegrated, and some penalties have really difficult to move the football.
Just credit the defense. For Mount Tabor, again, they've been getting pushed back all night long. You know you were going against a high-powered offense, so you were going to give up points. It was inevitable tonight. But in a big moment like that, this game back in line, your offense has woken up and taken back control on their side of it. And they're just asking for a stop to get back on the field and be in a position to take the lead here. You come up with 3 consecutive sacks. Unreal defensively by the Spartans.
A defense that gave up the fewest points to Grimsley all year, 34. They've played really good, especially the last 2 weeks, holding opponents to just 14 total points.
And that's what you expect. If you want to consider yourself again in that upper echelon of football in the state of North Carolina, you've got to go into games like this and you've got to come out victorious. It's what's put East Forsyth up there with Todd Willard at the helm. Now Tyshawn Brown, his coaching staff, and his players have an opportunity here to take a lead in the 4th quarter at home against one of the state's elite.
How many times do we say 3 punts for East Forsyth in a game? This is Gilchrist. Oh, hold on, he's scrambling. He's scrambling, and he boots it late, but a not great kick. Good field position for Tabor. That rugby style may have cost him. We'll take the timeout. Mount Tabor has flipped the script. We got plenty more here on My 48. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health. Your family's needs are our top priority when they're in our care. How about the hands of this running game? Mount Tabor now over 300 yards rushing and 2 straight touchdowns to tie it up.
Seemed like they were dead in the water. Offense couldn't get anything going. Defense couldn't stop a nosebleed from East Forsyth, but now the script has been flipped. Chance to take the lead.
Albright inside East territory. Feeds Thompson, and he spins away. Uh-oh, going backwards. Thompson gets a block and only loses 3. He could have lost about 10. Nathan Stewart on the stop.
Boy, the fact that he only lost 3 might be a miracle. But now after the series that Mount Tabor had defensively, particularly that defensive line, you see Thompson come to the sideline a little gimpy.
So he comes out. Kamari Shell, who's been explosive, enters.
East Forsyth makes their own state.
Now 2nd and 14. Tabor's rushing attack, top 10 in the state coming in. 40 rushes, over 5 yards a carry. Back to the ground with Shell. He slips it loose, and he actually gains 7 on the dragging tackle. We saw what Alex Orji did at Michigan 2 weeks ago at USC. Only 5 pass attempts for Orji. Tonight, Tabor has just 4 attempts, but Mark, they're moving the football enough to get this win.
Because what they do best is what they've always been able to do, and that's run the football, and they are doing it against East Forsyth's will. I mean, they are putting guys in the box and trying to stop this rushing attack. But between Thompson, Shell, and at times Albright, they have had their way on the ground tonight.
Michigan ran it for 350 to win over USC. Here's Mount Tabor on 3rd down, needing a screen, nearly picked as Thompson got tripped up.
Saw it in the first half. They tried to run a screen to Thompson, and he ran into his blockers. They're not getting out there quick enough. That's the 2nd time they've run that screen, and it's almost been a carbon copy of what happened on the previous one. Just hangs in the air too far that time and almost intercepted going the other way by Zion Pleasant.
He was unpleasant after dropping that ball.
No, he sure was. Oh, wow, look at this. These defenses could not stop anything in the 3rd quarter.
And look at that field position you give up if you're Mount Tabor.
Yeah.
After a bad punt.
Plus territory, you have 2 scoring drives and a 2-point conversion. The momentum is entirely on your side. That 1 run on 1st down.
Andy Diaz now in the punt. There's a good boot. Can Diaz pin this inside? They'll drop it inside the 20. And that's where East Forsyth will start with the football. This mirrors the moment we saw last year. Bryce Baker had a 75-yard touchdown drive. And can he do it again for that faithful?
In some ways, it felt like the moment where Bryce Baker really came onto the scene. A clutch touchdown throw against your rival. And now the moment beckons for him to make a play yet again.
Bob Sapp is rocking tonight. A top 10 matchup in North Carolina. The winner controls the CPC. Baker, quick toss. Patient Murray chopped down. And a gain of just 2. That's Shell on the tackle.
Another great play. Those tosses tonight have not been overly successful for East Forsyth. Defensive Mount Tabor's flowing very well, finding the ball carrier, navigating those blockers, and getting there in a hurry. Only 2 yards on that.
Baker changing the play. He led a game-winning drive last year when these teams met. Now 2nd and 8. Quick stop in the backfield. Blair fighting for more yards. Blair's not going down. And a late flag. Another flag. Uh-oh, that could be a personal foul. And a first down. And both Blair cousins are down on the field. If that's a family feud, I don't know what is. It looks like the Blairs are getting back up. Where's Steve Harvey when you need him? One Blair's cramped. The other Blair is a little slow to get up.
We're seeing Corey, you see there, number 0 for East Forsyth. Cramp already tonight. Seems like maybe a little bit more than that. But man, the way these teams are playing right now, these guys on the field are giving it every ounce of their energy. Every last part of their will is going into this football game right now. 5 minutes left. It's tied up. The matchup that the entire state has their eyes on.
Jadon Blair back to his feet. Corey Blair is still down. And I would think those penalties are on Tabor for late hits or personal fouls. There's a couple flags down.
Yeah. And as of right now, you see right in the middle of the field, Tyshawn Brown there to the right of your screen. Todd Willard also not far off screen from him, having a little bit of a conversation, it feels like.
Okay, now the refs are going over the calls here. Gary Overton leading the charge, the white hat. Let's clean up some dirty laundry here in Winston-Salem. Offsetting penalties. So to help clarify, those are offsetting penalties. And good to see the running back Corey Blair back on his feet.
Again, a humid night here in Winston-Salem. And with these teams just going back and forth with each other right now, exerting that much energy, you're bound to go down at some point. Body just needs a rest. And Corey Blair has been a workhorse here tonight.
Season high, 15 touches for Blair. And he'll exit for a play, maybe more.
Only came into this game toting the rock 5 times, but to that point, 152 yards.
Not a bad week last Thursday. And now more whistles. They reset the chains. Has a playoff field tonight here in Winston-Salem. First down, play action. There's a drop and a pick. Wait, no, he couldn't squeeze it. Oh, wow. Both players had a chance.
Wow.
Murray and the defender.
It was the right read. Bryce Baker makes the right read there. Pull that football back out. They call a hang route, quick and over the middle.
Oh, it was Mafooth with the slippery fingers. Must have had our cotton candy.
Yeah. But just hanging on to that football is a must right there.
Baker on second down, back to the ground. Murray hit hard, and he'll get half the yardage back. Baker's been efficient, but he's also run for his life all night. 15 of 18 passing.
The pressure here in the later stages of the third quarter going into the fourth for Mount Tabor has been able to get home and wreak havoc in that backfield of the Eagles. Can they do it again?
Now it's 3rd and 4. Baker, 4-man rush. Throws short, there's the first. Richburg into Tabor territory. What a huge 3rd down play.
Absolutely pristine protection up front by his offensive line. 4 guys rush. You have a double team on 1 guy in the middle. Everyone else is man to man. And look at this job up front. Bryce Baker had all day to come all the way back to Richburg and complete that football.
Now into Tabor territory, under 4 minutes to go. And a whistle. Timeout. So Mount Tabor down to just 1 timeout. We'll take it. Final 3 minutes. A lot of football here to go. Stick around on My 48. Welcome back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Mount Tabor looking for a stop. East Forsyth wants to put this game out of reach. And the East offense, 54 plays for just about 400 yards in a battle here in the 4th quarter. Bryce Baker on 1st down, little play action. Baker wants the home run ball. Baker takes his shot and incomplete. Right through Gilchrist Mintz.
That is a unreal throw down the football field.
And Gilchrist couldn't believe he dropped it.
You're trying to tell me you want a high school quarterback to throw a back shoulder throw to the sideline about 40 yards down the field? I mean, that is unreal. Gilchrist had a play on it. That's a tough catch to make, but you throw it away from the coverage. That is a wicked throw at the high school level.
There's a reason Bryce Baker is the #1 quarterback recruit in the state. Now on 2nd down, Baker out of the pocket. Another home run ball. That's caught! Touchdown, East Forsyth! Kendall Sawyer, the 48-yard bomb.
Bryce Baker is a magician, man. How about that, rolling out to his right, and Evan, it almost looked like a carbon copy of his game-winning throw we saw last year against Mount Tabor. What a play over the top. And there's been a couple of opportunities for Kendall Sawyer to make a play deep in this ball game. They have not been able to find him that time, just over the hand of a Mount Tabor defender for 6.
Extra point, that sneaks through. And how about the first touchdown of the year for Sawyer?
I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Rolling out to the right, the protection's there. Baker loads it up and over the arms of who else but Snook Biederkin. That is an absolute dime in one of the biggest moments of your season.
And if you're Mac Brown watching at home in Chapel Hill, you are really excited about next year's quarterback.
I'm telling you. Tar Heel fans, I know it's been tough these last couple weeks, but you can look to the future right here, and it is in good hands.
So here's East Forsyth back up a touchdown. 3 scores for Baker. And there's the student section for East. Traveled well on the road tonight. This is a high school atmosphere. Two of the top 10 teams in the state. And what response does Mount Tabor have drawn up?
Regular games don't feel like this in October, Evan. This is different.
Here's Kreismore. Little pooch kick. Returnable from the 30. Wait a second. Broken tackle. Open space. Mount Tabor, amazing field position for Jalen Springs.
Springs a 2-point conversion earlier in this game. Now takes the pooch punt. Going down the field. What a play.
Oh, there's a flag. Hold on. Back at the 45.
And oh my goodness.
Oh, a late block in the back. Neutralizes everything. That's a 15-yard penalty, too.
And that one's on Snook Peterkin.
So Tabor's lived on the running game. Can they continue that here with 3 minutes left?
It has to, you're banking on explosive plays at that point. Now it's time for Lane Albright. Wow. I don't know if it was a block in the back. And they said number 1, but that was on Shell, number 3.
What a costly penalty.
But you got to start looking. Lane Albright has to start making plays at the quarterback spot.
3 minutes to go. Peterkin jukes out a 1 and gets 4. Clock under 3 minutes now.
And only 1 timeout left for Mount Tabor as well, so they've got to be smart with how they use that going forward.
You have a chance to pull off what East did last year. Game-winning drive, go for 2 and win it if you're Tabor. Mount Tabor's never beaten East as a 4A school. What a chance here in the 4th. Albright. A whistle.
Oh, wow.
And a penalty.
Much as we discussed the penalty woes tonight for East Forsyth, at the worst possible time, Mount Tabor with the false start backs them up. And now a productive run on first down, absolutely nullified.
And the clock's moving. 2.5 minutes left.
Gotta hurry up here.
Urgency for Albright. It's a sweep. Good hole, but not much, just 4 yards. And now Kingston Brown, there's a lot of pressure on the clock. Jaden Booth, my apologies.
You got to think with 2 minutes left, you've got to start moving with some more urgency to get down the field, get as many shots. This East Forsyth defense is going to protect on the back end. You've got to be able to take some shots short to intermediate along those sidelines.
Final 2 minutes, 3rd down. Albright takes a shot through the hands of Peterkin, no flag. Wait, there. No, I don't see a flag on the field. So there's 4th down in the ball game.
Let them play through that one. A little bit of physical nature on the back end, but good defense over the top.
How about this? Top 10 matchup in the state. A league title on the line in the Central Piedmont. Here is 4th and the ball game.
Expect only 4 to come if you're East.
Albright on 4th. Throws. That's a catch, but short. A 4th down stop for East Forsyth. Needed 7, got 2. And that's Tristan McQueen, the DB.
I just don't understand the play call, the decision there to go up well short of the sticks. We know the speed of East Forsyth laterally across the field. They're fast, they're quick, they can cover. You can't make that play out there. You've got to get that football past the sticks. A game with so much momentum, swinging back and forth like the pendulum it is. East Forsyth comes up when the plays, when it mattered, and come out of here with a gargantuan W.
And with one timeout, Mount Tabor really can't stop the clock here. Unless this is a Miami situation from a few years ago where you fumble the ball on a kneel down. I think the game's over.
It is worth noting that the offense of East Forsyth operates out of the shotgun. So all it does take, to your point, Evan, is one errant snap, one mishandle. That ball's on the ground, and it opens up a completely different set of possibilities.
So 92 seconds. Yeah, with one timeout, there would be what, 2, maybe 4 seconds left if the play ends right away?
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot of time. Tabor had to burn 2 timeouts on offense. Now that play's huge. Bryce Baker ready to rock, a few kneel downs away from a 3-0 start in the CPC. And Baker will do just that, work the clock. What does this win say tonight about the East Forsyth Eagles?
Tested for really the first time this year against an opponent that has seen a lot of really good football. You come into an enemy territory, they're hyped up, ready to go, knowing they were so close last year coming away with a win in Kernersville. You're tested, you fight back, and if you are Coach Todd Willard, you've got to be so impressed with what your team did here tonight, because despite the setbacks, the penalties, the mental mistakes.
And there were penalties, 15 of them for East.
And that's going to be the one thing, again, going into film this week, they'll sit there and say, hey, we've got to clean this up. Because everything else we did tonight, we played a fantastic football game against a fantastic football team. Able to scrape by, but what happens if we don't have 15 penalties?
An East Forsyth team that has seen Jalen Moore, its great quarterback from 2 years ago, play now in Arkansas State. One of its greatest in baseball, Connor Norby, inducted into the East Hall of Fame. He's now with the Orioles big league squad. And here's the next generation of Eagles that are now in line for a top 5 ranking in the state.
And tonight they certainly earned it. This is a different East Forsyth team. It's not completely led by its passing attack. Don't get me wrong, they are dangerous, stretching the field and getting the football in the air, but this team can run the football.
So Baker will burn some clock. And they haven't started the play clock yet, so I think that'll officially wrap it up.
And if you are Mount Tabor, again, a game where you were so close, everything had shifted back into your favor. A couple plays here and there may make a difference. And we're talking about a very different situation, but they're still going to be scratching for answers. And they'll go into next week against a Davie County team that is vulnerable. Look to release some of this anger, disappointment.
East Forsyth needs one more snap to wrap this up. And the senior Bryce Baker has done it. 3rd straight win for East Forsyth over Mount Tabor. This was a physical battle tonight till the final seconds. And the Eagles remain a top 5 team in the state with a 1-touchdown win.
Absolutely unreal game. Lived up to every single bit of the hype that we heard throughout the week. When we talked to these coaches, they said they knew it was going to be a battle on both sides. True testament to both these rosters, these coaching staffs. What an unreal football game tonight.
His coach is shaking things out after a fantastic night for high school football. When we come back, interviews with the winning coach Todd Willard and trophies to hand out. What a battle in the CPC. East Forsyth pulls out a 1-touchdown throw.
Coach, you predicted that this game would be a slugfest, and your team came out. Y'all executed when it mattered the most. Coach, what was some of those factors that put y'all over the top?
Hey, just great. A lot of penalties tonight, but we found a way to win. Great teams find ways, and that's what we did.
Yes, sir. So after the win, how does this prepare for the rest of the season going forward?
Well, it puts us in a good driver's seat. We got a long ways to go right now.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations on that victory, Coach. You can celebrate with your team.
Hey, let's go!
Back to you, Evan.
Oh, man. Look at the energy there from the East Forsyth Eagles. And time now for our player of the game, Mark. It was a dynamic display from this East Forsyth offense.
It sure was, and naturally we have to go over to the leader, the engineer of that offense. That's number 2, the quarterback, Bryce Baker. Just an unbelievable athlete. Just took the game into his own hands, made the plays when they mattered the most, including the dagger of a touchdown down the field. Crunch time to take the lead, the final lead of the game. Bryce Baker electric, reading the defense, and he's certainly grown from the last time we saw him almost a year ago. He's the Carolina Classic Fair player of the game. Carolina Classic Fair, 10 days of awesome.
That's the game-winning touchdown. And here is your My 48 play of the game. Guess who? Baker finds his target, and that's the ball game.
Just so eerily similar to the exact touchdown that we saw last year that he completed in crunch time to beat Mount Tabor. Rolling out to the right, beautiful shot over the top, beats Peterkin. It was all pay dirt from there.
Kendall Sawyer scores the game-winning touchdown. How about our Linder Turf and Tractor scoring summary? Hey, tight game till the end, and East Forsyth pulls out a huge win in the state standing.
Absolutely unreal game. Lived up to every bit of the hype that we heard throughout the week. These teams talked about it, we heard about it, and it absolutely delivered on every single facet here tonight.
We want to thank all of our sponsors, Capital Metals and High Point for the plaques and trophies, Cook Rentals for those end zone views, and Mountain Fried Chicken for our amazing crew meal, Patriot Pretzel Company, and of course, the Carolina Classic Fair. What a night here in Winston-Salem. Thanks to our high schools, the Carolina Classic Fair for our Friday Night Rivals broadcast. Huge win for East Forsyth. Next week, we'll see Mount Tabor again as they visit the War Eagles of Davie County on My 48 Sports. For Drew DiMarcantonio, for Lori Bates, for Mark Covert, for Matt Gibson, I'm Evan Budrovich and our entire crew. What a great night for high school football. A fun battle here in Winston-Salem.